The sky roiled as lightning tore through the dark night. The day of awakening had arrived. Amidst a majestic, desolate landscape, a spatial gate opened, leading to the most dangerous place of all, the S-rank lair of the Death God. The crimson portal swirled menacingly before the eyes of humanity's most ancient existence. Inside the dungeon, littered with the white bones of the dead, was the first S-rank dungeon to ever appear on Blue Star. For decades, the lair of the Death God remained unconquered, and countless powerful warriors had lost their lives here, stepping out from a cloud of dust with a sword in hand. And now, I, Su Ming, have challenged the lair of the Death God alone. But before I could even savor my victory, enemies surrounded me, laughing mockingly. I had just slain the strongest God-level variant beast. But Su Ming, don't even try to cling to life. Hand over the divine artifact. Cold, sharp blades pointed directly at the lone, God-slaying hero. Your luck has run out. Su Ming, surrender. You are a hero of humanity. We will grant you a swift death. Su Ming gripped his flaming sword, listening to the enemy's vile temptations. Tell us where you hid the divine artifact, and maybe we'll leave your body intact. To think you'd ambush me the moment I cleared the dungeon, just to steal a divine artifact. Recognizing the leader who stepped forward with a triumphant look, he said coldly, "So this was your plan all along?" Zhang Xuan, he brandished his weapon threateningly, his killing intent palpable. Hand over the divine artifact. A false promise escaped the lips of the gloating traitor. For the sake of our past brotherhood, I won't kill you. I'll just cripple your powers. Su Ming laughed bitterly, raising his blazing greatsword to prepare for battle. I must have been blind. Since I was 18, I've treated you like a brother, fighting by your side all these years. His eyes filled with rage and utter disappointment. And yet, I never saw just how venomous your heart truly was. Energy exploded from him. He roared as he charged into a life-or-death battle. Since all you want is the divine artifact. A terrifying clash echoed, shaking the very heavens and earth. Boom! He emerged from the smoke with an overwhelming aura. He challenged them. If you want a taste of the Heaven-Defying God Ring's power, then come and get it. But I doubt any of you have the guts. The crowd recoiled in fear before his terrifying power. This is definitely a divine artifact. We don't have time for this. Kill Su Ming and find the artifact he's hiding. Wait, he's wielding the artifact's power. We can't act rashly. Zhang Xuan remained calm, looking up at the sky with a sinister smile, his plan just one step away from completion. Suddenly, a shadow descended from above, calling his name loudly. Su Ming! Su Ming froze, looking up in complete surprise. A beautiful girl rushed down, filled with anxiety. Xiao Man. She threw her arms around him, her voice choked with concern. What are you doing here? I heard someone was plotting against you. Su Ming, I was so worried. Su Ming smiled reassuringly, completely letting his guard down before the woman he loved. It's okay. I've obtained the divine artifact, the Heaven-Defying God Ring. He turned his back to her, confidently facing his enemies. They are no match for me, but there's one thing I don't understand. The image of Zhang Xuan's meaningful smirk flashed in his mind. How did they know my whereabouts? Suddenly, a cold blade pierced through his chest from behind, accompanied by a whisper. It was me. Su Ming stared in horror at the woman he trusted most as she cast a spell. Ren Xiao Man. Why? Zhang Xuan shouted with excitement, seeing his moment had arrived. It's a success. The final catalyst is in place to activate the imprisonment array. The entire land trembled as a massive crimson formation swallowed him whole. Bound tightly by chains, Su Ming painfully realized the cruel truth. This cursed seal, it belongs to Ren Xiao Man. Could it be, she betrayed me long ago? Zhang Xuan wrapped his arm around Ren Xiao Man's waist, smugly announcing his deadly trap. This is the imprisonment array we prepared just for you. You can't use your powers anymore. Sorry, Su Ming. To be honest, I was only with you for Zhang Xuan's sake. He continued to mock the man's pain, revealing his true face. The moment I saw you awaken a 9-star talent, I knew I could use you to obtain the divine artifact. Su Ming gritted his teeth, roaring in helpless fury as the chains held him fast. Damn it! The formation beneath his feet glowed crimson as the enemy's kill order echoed through the air. Kill him! The mages on the cliffs simultaneously unleashed their skills, intending to annihilate him. Kill him and take the divine artifact. Suddenly, a giant skeletal hand erupted from the ground, blocking the attack. Boom! A figure rushed forward, shouting, using their own body to block the rain of magic bullets. Stop! The skeletal hand clashed violently with the enemy's firepower, creating a massive, fiery explosion that shielded Su Ming. Su Ming was stunned, staring in disbelief at the person who had just appeared to save him. What are you doing here? The girl, holding a scepter, stood defiantly in the middle of the brutal battlefield. Jijiao, her gaze resolute. Jijiao, the necromancer, turned and shouted to reassure him. Su Ming, don't give up. You can't let these cowards get the divine artifact. Zhang Xuan sneered, ordering his troops into a frenzied attack. Even crazier. Another one with a death wish. There are dozens of masters here. Not even the Heavenly King himself could save Su Ming now. Through the smoke and fire, Jijiao fought alone against a storm of attacks from all sides. Zhang Xuan himself charged forward, a lightning sword in hand, radiating killing intent. Anyone who stands in my way will die. Su Ming shouted a panicked warning as he saw the danger approaching his savior. Watch your flank. Jijiao flinched, her eyes widening as she realized her mistake. But it was too late to react. Zhang Xuan struck from her blind spot with a cruel smile and a cold, sharp blade. Don't blame me, classmate Jijiao. Su Ming's eyes widened in horror as his friend took the fatal blow. Jijiao. Fresh blood sprayed from her wound. The enemy's cold voice rang out as he stepped over her body. Jijiao, this is no time to be wasting your energy worrying about others. He immediately turned and unleashed a powerful lightning kick into Su Ming's stomach. You can die too. Red chains pierced through his body. Zhang Xuan crushed his last hope. Hand over the divine artifact, and I might consider sparing your worthless life. Su Ming coughed up blood, his eyes filled with hatred for the despicable traitor. You, he screamed in despair, torn apart by the excruciating pain of the formation. You bastards. A terrifying surge of energy was unleashed to end it all. Divine skill. Rupture. A horrific explosion swept through, the ground shattering under its overwhelming power. This power, it's a divine skill. Amidst the rubble, Su Ming's trembling hand reached out through the hazy green smoke. Jijiao. He pulled her blood-soaked body into his arms. He asked in anguish, why did you come here? I've let you down so many times. Tears mixed with blood streamed down Su Ming's face. Regret and agony overwhelmed him. Jijiao smiled weakly, raising a hand as if to wipe away his tears. Su Ming, if we have to die, let's die together. A giant sword plunged into the earth amidst the desolate battlefield, marking a tragic end. It is today. Su Ming roared a blood oath. I, Su Ming, the god of slaughter, swear here and now. His eyes burned with hatred as he ground out every word. If I am reborn, I will hunt you down and tear every last one of you to pieces. The treacherous pair, Ren Xiao Man and Zhang Xuan, watched his insane act in horror. What is he trying to do? Zhang Xuan's eyes widened in terror as he realized his intention to take them all down with him. He's trying to drag the divine artifact into the abyss with him. He screamed in panic as he saw Su Ming leap into the chasm. Quick, stop him. Get the divine artifact. Plunging into the void, Su Ming laughed with defiant arrogance. You want the divine artifact? He let go, leaving one last taunt hanging in the air. Then come and get it. His hand reached out, the ring, the divine artifact, shining brilliantly on the edge of life and death. A blinding white light enveloped everything. His consciousness faded. Am I dead? Suddenly, the scene changed. He stared in bewilderment at the blue sky and a familiar school. Where is this? The sound of a microphone pulled him back to a noisy reality. On the stage, a teacher excitedly announced the good news. We have a result. At the 127th awakening ceremony of the First Xuanjing Academy, student Wang Qiang has successfully changed his profession. The flame on the altar blazed, and the information appeared clearly. A life skill profession, enchanter, 3-star innate attribute. Most of the people awakening today don't have combat professions. Huh? Su Ming stood in the crowd, stunned as he looked down at the uniform he was wearing. An enchanter is a very useful life skill profession. His status in the future won't be low. Our school's luck at the awakening ceremony is a bit bad this year. He touched his chest, his heart pounding as he recognized this familiar feeling. Looking at the whole schoolyard, the shocking truth hit him. I've returned to when I was 18 years old, on the very day of the awakening ceremony. Memories of his past life flooded back as he saw his old friend, the student who had just successfully awakened the fatty, Wang Qiang. In my past life, he was also an enchanter, if I remember correctly. The teacher continued reading the list, his voice echoing across the schoolyard. Next up is Li Song Yang. Successful awakening. Combat profession, warrior, 2-star innate attribute. Qian Yu, awakening failed. Song Li, successful awakening, combat mage. Next. Student Li Song Yang. A male student jumped for joy. I did it. Successfully awakened the combat profession, warrior. 2-star innate attribute. In contrast, the sound of sobbing came from the one who failed. Next, student Qian Yu. Ah, I worked so hard for this day. Don't be too sad. Unfortunately, the awakening process has failed. The crowd then roared in admiration for another genius. Next, student Song Li has successfully awakened the combat mage profession. As expected of her, in a hidden corner, Su Ming smirked knowingly. He looked up at the sky, affirming his new destiny. I have been reborn. The images of his enemies appeared in his mind, fueling the flames of revenge. This chance to live again, is this heaven's will for me to rewrite all of my regrets? Suddenly, the crowd burst into an uproar, utterly astonished. Wow, look at that profession, a hidden combat class. On the high platform, a platinum-haired young man radiated an extraordinary aura. Zhang Tang has successfully awakened as a magic hammer warrior. He held his head high with arrogance, boasting an incredibly high stat index and an 8-star innate attribute level. Everyone buzzed with excitement about his incredible background. The first hidden combat class had appeared. After all, that was Zhang Tang, the young master of the Zhang family. His father is a war emperor and his mother is a magic warrior. His bloodline was pure from the very beginning. Su Ming narrowed his eyes, staring at his old enemy with an icy glare. Zhang Tang. Suddenly, a slender hand gently tapped his shoulder from behind. So, this is where you were? Congratulations. Our Xuanjing First Academy has produced an 8-star genius right at the start of the year. Su Ming flinched and glanced back. Before him stood the girl he had sworn to protect, standing there, whole and unharmed. Su Ming, I've been looking all over for you. Ji Jiao, the girl, tilted her head, puzzled by his strange reaction. Why are you looking at me so surprised? Is there something on my face? Oh, no. I just wanted to congratulate you in advance. Ji Jiao, huh? Why are you congratulating me? The image of a blood-soaked Ji Jiao from his past life overlapped with her current bright smile, making his heart clench. Ji Jiao. Su Ming smiled gently, his eyes filled with adoration. It's nothing. You'll find out when you get on the platform in a bit. It's so good to see you again. The announcer's voice cut through their conversation. Next up, student Ji Jiao. That's my cue. She walked onto the platform, and the instructor guided her kindly. Student, please place your hand on the heavenly stele. Her small hand touched the stone surface. Streams of energy began to swirl. Ji Jiao's eyes widened in surprise as she felt the unusual change. Huh? A pillar of energy suddenly shot straight into the sky, stunning everyone. It's happening again. That's a hidden class. Ji Jiao looked up at the beam of light surrounding her, astonished by the result displayed before her. Ji Jiao awakens a hidden combat class, Necromancer, with a 7-star innate level. The crowd of students below roared with excitement. Amazing! Another hidden combat class. For real? Our academy is going to be famous this year, isn't it? He thought to himself, his eyes gleaming with absolute confidence. Just as I predicted. Well then, it's my turn next. The teacher excitedly called the next name, hoping for the miracle to continue. Let's keep this luck going. Next, student Su Ming. Good luck. Su Ming. Su Ming walked up amidst the skeptical whispers of his classmates. 2 hidden classes have already been awakened in a row. There won't be a third one, right? I don't think so. That's Su Ming from class 1. He's an orphan. His mind drifted back to the reality of this world. In a world dominated by awakeners, the Azure Dragon Nation. Recalling humanity's turbulent history decades ago, after Awakening Day arrived, a new law of survival was established. Every person, upon reaching the age of 18, could complete a class change by participating in the awakening ceremony to become one of the Awakeners. Status and power were completely reshaped. The Awakeners changed the face of this world. They not only possessed the power to bend the rules, but also immense wealth and equipment to change their destiny. But with great power came lurking dangers. At the same time, they also had to face colossal, ferocious beasts and terrifying dungeons. Monsters roared, baring their fangs and claws in humanity's memory, facing down the overwhelming presence of a giant dragon's head, as well as countless other trials. Su Ming recalled his own past. And in my previous life, as an orphan, I survived on relief funds and scholarships. On the day of the awakening ceremony, I was incredibly fortunate to be favored by the heavens. An earth-shattering phenomenon had once occurred. A celestial phenomenon also appeared at that moment. I ultimately awakened with a 9-star innate attribute, the legendary class, God of Slaughter. He remembered the image of himself holding a blood-soaked sword, radiating killing intent. But this time, he placed his hand on the heavenly stele with the determination to change everything. And today, in this life, I will once again make everyone look at me in a new light. The teacher looked on in shock as the sky transformed violently. This kind of fluctuation, could it be the birth of a genius? With a 9-star innate attribute, or even higher? Ji Jiao and everyone else were stunned by the unbelievable sight. Could a phenomenon like this be another hidden class? That's impossible, right? 3 in a row would be just insane. Su Ming closed his eyes, immersing himself in the familiar flow of energy. Come on, let me feel the vibrations of these ancient runes once more. Suddenly, a foreign object emerged from his chest, startling him. It was a ring, glowing brilliantly as it floated before him. The divine artifact, the Heaven-Defying God Ring. Did it really travel through time with me? A golden system panel appeared, announcing shocking news. What is this? The strongest class change system of the God of Slaughter. Binding successful. The system has bound a new class for you. Successfully awakened the mythical class, Sword God. Su Ming stared in utter shock at the flaming sword icon. A mythical class, Sword God. The sky is ripped apart by a colossal pillar of purple light, pulsing with destructive energy. A massive, crimson sword materializes in midair, its terrifying pressure bearing down on Su Ming. The instructor collapses to the floor, his hand trembling as he clutches the microphone. For a phenomenon like this to occur, just what kind of class is he awakening into? The panicked students argued about the bizarre phenomenon. If it's a combat class, that would be amazing. If it's a non-combat class, it'll be a tragedy. Are you an idiot? There's no way a phenomenon like this is for some non-combat class. Zhang Tong gritted his teeth, staring at Su Ming's back in confusion. Why isn't that guy moving? In the eye of the crimson energy storm, Su Ming stood silently, facing the giant sword, ready to receive his new power. Su Ming stared in astonishment at the notification before him, realizing the immense difference. The awakened class was Sword God, not the God of Slaughter from his past life. He curiously touched the high-tech interface, which was glowing with a golden system light. The system began to scan and confirm the user's identity. This was completely different from his past life. System has identified the target, confirming Su Ming. A majestic, blazing red sword icon appeared on the interface. The detailed information panel for his class and talent appeared clearly. Awakened class, Sword God. Golden talent, ascension of all things. Su Ming broke out in a cold sweat, unable to hide his absolute shock. A golden talent. This was even higher than the 9-star class he had awakened in his previous life. A confident smile slowly spread across his lips as he thought about his future potential. If this is for real, it will definitely surpass the God of Slaughter from my past life. However, when he opened the skill interface, he was stunned to find it completely empty. Opening skill interface for you. No class skills. No skills have been awakened. Su Ming froze, rendered speechless by the cruel reality before him. He furiously slammed his fist into the virtual screen, roaring in frustration. What the hell is this? You could have at least given me one skill. How is this worthy of the golden tier? Outside, the crowd began to whisper and gossip, seeing him stand still for so long. What's that guy doing? Taking so long? Student Su Ming, have you completed your class change? Su Ming was still lost in thought, doubting the system. Without a single skill, how am I any different from before I awakened? Is this system messing with me? Suddenly, the system responded and issued a new directive. Receiving feedback, continuing guidance, requesting ring appraisal. He stared blankly at the object that had just appeared in his hand. Huh? A ring. The golden ring shone brilliantly, hovering mysteriously in front of him. The system announced the appraisal result. Confirmed familiar item, Heaven-Defying God Ring. Appraisal successful. Instantly, a colossal pillar of energy shot straight into the sky. The fluctuation is too strong. The instructor had to shield his face with his scepter from the terrifying energy surge. Has the awakening process finished yet? In the sky, amidst the swirling vortex of energy, the number 10 appeared in a brilliant glow. The instructor's eyes went wide and his jaw dropped as he screamed in utter shock. It's 10-star. The temple gates opened, and the announcement of the class change echoed out. Class change to a hidden class. Swordmaster. The students below erupted in chaos, unable to believe their ears. A 10-star innate attribute? What kind of heaven-defying monster is this? That's the talent level of a top scorer. A student broke out in a cold sweat as he compared him to the previous genius. Holy crap! I thought Tang's 8-star magic hammer warrior was already insane, but now some max-level, 10-star monster shows up. The headmaster, overjoyed, took the microphone and announced, "This year is truly a year of blooming talent for our academy. Not only have many students with hidden classes appeared, but we also have a prodigy with a 10-star innate attribute. He hesitated for a moment. Although the Swordmaster class's potential isn't particularly outstanding among swordsman types, he possesses a 10-star innate talent. Su Ming walked off the altar to a warm welcome from the headmaster. I believe that Su Ming will certainly have limitless potential in the future. As the headmaster, I've decided to reward student Su Ming with a set of cultivation support items. But the crowd below began to murmur with regret and mockery. I can't believe it's just a swordmaster. What a waste of an innate talent. The Swordmaster is considered the bottom of the barrel among swordsman classes. The swordsman class is inherently a melee class, while the Swordmaster fights both up close and at a distance, requiring cultivation in both physical and magical arts. Although it can fight from a distance, it spreads cultivation resources thin, resulting in mediocre combat power. It's a completely weak class. It's like God opened the front door for him, only to slam the back one in his face. The criticisms grew harsher and more pragmatic. A 10-star talent stuck with the pathetic Swordmaster class. Can you imagine how big of a psychological blow that is? The comprehensive report on awakened classes says that if a Swordmaster grinds hard in the later stages, they can still be a decent support DPS. Plus, with Su Ming's talent, I think he can develop. Dream on. A Swordmaster has to work twice as hard as others just to earn cultivation points. I think the real question is whether he can even survive the initial beginner's dungeon. Stop with the flattery. Su Ming walked on with a grim expression, his eyes cold as he thought to himself. In your eyes, a blade wielder is just trash. Ji Jiao rushed over, calling out, Su Ming. She smiled brightly, offering a sincere congratulations. Congratulations, Su Ming replied politely. Congratulations to you too, Ji Jiao. Ji Jiao looked up at him with admiration, trying to comfort him. They're all just talking nonsense. Who else could awaken a 10-star talent? Su Ming, you're truly amazing. Even though the blade wielder class is a bit weak in the early stages, I believe in your talent. It definitely won't be a problem. Su Ming looked at her with a gentle gaze and said softly, Thank you, Ji Jiao. I don't pay any mind to those words. He walked past her, his face turning cold with the thought. Their reaction is exactly what I wanted. Ji Jiao stared after him, bewildered. Huh? The announcer's voice rang out again, cutting through her thoughts. Next student. The male students below roared with excitement at the sight of the person walking up. Go for it. She's so beautiful. A beautiful girl with fluffy pink hair stepped out confidently, capturing everyone's attention. Zhang Tang blushed as he stared intently at the girl. Student Ren Xiao Man, he cheered enthusiastically. The two exchanged a meaningful glance. You can do it, Xiao Man. Go for it, student Xiao Man. Ji Jiao watched with admiration. Student Xiao Man is so popular. She really is our school's belle. Su Ming only gave a casual glance. Ren Xiaoman glanced at Su Ming's retreating back. Ji Jiao called after him, Su Ming, the ceremony isn't over yet. He walked away coldly, without looking back. I'm not interested. Painful memories from his past life flooded his mind. In my past life, that woman used my talent. In the end, she didn't hesitate to betray me. The image of her delivering the fatal blow appeared vividly. I told you before. Ren Xiaoman's cruel smile from that moment was something he could never forget. This debt of hatred. I will definitely repay it. The wind blew past the modern skyscrapers, the city, the streets. Su Ming strolled alone on the sidewalk. In this life, everything about his ordinary daily life seemed unchanged. A golden skill panel appeared before him. Except for my awakened profession. Absolute disguise, a legendary skill. Revert to mortal, which has the ability to conceal or rewrite my own information, such as equipment, class, skills, and so on. His handsome face was revealed beneath the skill's disguise, absolute disguise. One of the 4 skills I brought back from my past life. A brilliant golden light emanated from an object in his memory. Su Ming looked at the glowing object in his hand, stunned. The ring is loading the divine artifact, the God-Defying Ring. The system announced a series of activated skills. You have inherited a portion of the skills from the God of Slaughter profession. A bright light enveloped Su Ming. He was stunned to realize a new profession, Sword God, with the skills of a god of slaughter. The character status panel appeared with lines of brilliant gold text. Strength 10, Constitution 10, Agility 10, Spirit 10, Luck 10. Su Ming, Level 1. Profession, Sword God. Mythical grade, the only one in the world. Talent, Ascension of all things. Skills, One-hit kill of the Slaughter God. Absolute disguise, Godly shadow steps, Clairvoyant eyes. He walked on, deep in thought. A common man is innocent, but possessing a treasure makes him guilty. To avoid being used by others, again, like in my past life, and because my current strength is still not enough. His eyes grew sharp and determined. Since the 10-star talent cannot be hidden, I must conceal the information about my sword god profession. Looking up at the deep blue sky, he swore to himself, this chance at rebirth, I will definitely seize it. Su Ming entered the lobby of a large building. According to my past life's experience, one day after the awakening ceremony ends, a menacing, swirling red dungeon gate appeared in his mind. The beginner's dungeon trial will arrive. The corner of his mouth curled into a confident smirk. For me, the beginner's dungeon is no challenge at all. To level up faster and get better equipment. The shadow of a giant monster appeared. I must challenge that most difficult boss. He looked up at the towering skyscraper before him. Before that, I need to get myself a good weapon. The magnificent commercial building appeared under the bright sun. Then the scene shifted to a dimly lit room. Heavy breathing and intimate actions were taking place. Zhang Tang and Ren Xiao Man were getting intimate in a hotel room. You're so naughty, student Zhang Tang. The awakening ceremony just ended this morning, and you've already brought me to a place like this. Zhang Tang was annoyed. Don't mention the awakening ceremony. That bastard Su Ming completely stole all my thunder. Ren Xiao Man soothed him. Don't be angry. Even though that Su Ming is just a blade wielder, the attributes he awakened are just too high. He will definitely have a lot of value to exploit in the future. Zhang Tang picked up his phone and smirked sinisterly. Oh, you mean, look. He looked at his phone screen. If you go and flirt with him a little. Ren Xiaoman licked her lips, her expression calculating and seductive. He'll definitely take the bait, for us in the future. Just then, Su Ming stepped into the bustling shopping district. A store employee bowed warmly. Welcome. Welcome to the 12th floor weapons shopping area. We wish you a pleasant shopping experience. This is the place. Looking around at the display stalls, Su Ming silently noted, it seems the awakening ceremonies at the nearby schools have all concluded this year. All the newly awakened students are preparing for the newbie dungeon trial tomorrow. Wow, that's the latest model from the ads. The students stared at the expensive weapon with longing eyes. I want it so bad. Forget it. How could newly awakened students like us afford such a pricey weapon? We'll just have to use our awakened abilities to grind like crazy and earn money in the future. Everyone was buzzing about a gorgeous ice blue sword. That's the Tyrant's Ice Sword, recently forged by a high-level player from the Great Swordsman class. I can't believe it's already on the market. The price is 1 million adventure coins. So expensive. Of course it is. As long as this sword hits its target, it can completely freeze the blood inside a monster. It's a diamond-grade weapon. Su Ming glanced at it, smirking inwardly because he knew the truth. So cool. Humph. This weapon is a fake. I remember in my past life, the merchant group that sold this pile of fakes was eventually rounded up. Just as he was about to leave, an urgent voice called out, "Wait a moment." Su Ming paused, his sharp gaze flicking to the side. A sophisticated woman walked over and asked, "Are you student Su Ming?" Su Ming was bewildered. "Huh? Who are you?" She handed him a business card, introducing herself confidently. "I haven't introduced myself. I am Jiang Lan, the vice president of the Jiang'an Corporation. This is my card." Su Ming took the card and replied coolly, "I don't think I know you." Ignoring his attitude, the people around them watched in surprise as Jiang Lan approached him. "Student Su Ming." Jiang Lan made a generous offer. "On behalf of the Jiang'an Corporation, I will cover all of your expenses here today. I hope student Su Ming can do me a favor." Su Ming asked back warily, "What kind of favor?" "Take out the photo." She signaled for her bodyguard to hold up a phone. "Yes, please take a look." On the screen was a picture of a gentle-looking young girl holding a flower to cover her face. Jiang Lan began to explain her purpose. "This is my younger sister, Jiang Yunqing. She goes to the same school as you. She also successfully awakened this morning. I have thoroughly investigated the news of you awakening a 10-star talent, student Su Ming. With your talent, tomorrow's newbie dungeon will surely not be too difficult." She looked him straight in the eye and made her request. "I'm sure you also know that only those who have just changed their profession can enter the newbie dungeon. I hope you can form a team with her and protect her as she completes the newbie dungeon trial." Su Ming looked at her in silence, his expression unchanging. He decisively turned his back and walked away. "I refuse. I'm not interested." The crowd was stunned. "Huh? If you just agree, you can choose any weapon in this store." He refused. "As a dirt-poor student who just awakened, you really shouldn't be refusing me." In response to that condescending remark, Su Ming simply raised his middle finger defiantly. "Is that so?" He pointed directly at the glass case containing the most expensive weapon. "Then I want that one." All eyes turned to the flashy sword. That frost ice sword worth 1 million. Jiang Lan was stunned. This guy is making an outrageous demand. "Are you trying to extort me?" Do you really think you're worth the price of 1 million with your current status? Su Ming remained calm, turning to leave. Weren't you the one who said I could choose anything? If you don't want to, then forget it. Before disappearing from sight, he left her with a piece of advice. There are many things that can't be shortcut with just financial power. Tell your sister to prepare with all her might for tomorrow's newbie dungeon test. Jiang Lan watched him go, gritting her teeth in anger, but also with a spark of interest. Humph, how interesting, student Su Ming. Consider this you having offended us. Let's go. The crowd whispered about what had just happened. That guy just messed with someone from the Jiang'an Corporation. Su Ming suddenly heard a notification sound. He pulled out his phone to check a message from someone. The sender's name appeared on the green screen, Ren Xiao Man. Reading the message, he let out a sarcastic sneer. Su Ming, didn't you always have a crush on me? I've had a change of heart. I want to see you. Tonight, on the rooftop of the school building. Just like her. Even though I didn't awaken the Godslayer profession in this life. But you, Ren Xiao Man, you really haven't changed at all. Su Ming's eyes turned ice cold as he remembered the past. The me of this time in my previous life. Su Ming quickly texted back, agreeing to the calculated meeting. All right, see you there. Leaving the main hall, he walked into a deserted weapon shop. An employee bowed politely. Excuse me. Yes, hello. How may I help you, sir? Su Ming approached a counter displaying rough, unrefined stones. He inquired, are these the sword embryo stones that can randomly create high-quality sword weapons? Ah, yes. These weapon embryo stones have a chance to produce silver-grade weapons. The female employee looked hesitant and gave him some sincere advice. I advise against it, sir, but you have to understand that it's all based on probability. Most raw stones only create the lowest grade weapons. I hope you'll reconsider before buying. This is exactly what I want. Seeing the customer's determination, the employee could only break out in a cold sweat, looking at him with worry. Su Ming smiled confidently, placing his hand on a pitch-black stone. Compared to buying an overpriced silver-grade weapon that would soon become obsolete, taking a cheap gamble here was the most suitable choice. A blue magic circle appeared in his eyes. Analyzing internal structure. Instead of calling it a gamble, it's more accurate to say that I can see the data inside these raw stones. It's all thanks to the second skill left to me by the god of slaughter from my past life. A crimson eye symbol appeared on the skill panel. Clairvoyant eyes. Skill. Clairvoyant eyes. Legendary. Return to origin. The user's eyes possess the power of true clairvoyance, able to perceive the basic information of all matter. He picked up a stone, smiling with satisfaction at finding a bargain. This is it. Compared to regular silver-grade weapons sold for hundreds or even thousands of adventure coins, getting one now for just 50 coins is an absolute steal. It's perfect for me, now that I'm back to being a poor student. Suddenly, the sound of whispers and chatter rose from behind him. Hey, isn't that the kid who just rejected the Jiang'an Corporation? What's he holding in his hand? A group of rich students walked over. Their leader, Yang Ding, sneered mockingly. Isn't that one of those trashy weapon embryo stones used for weapon gambling? Well. I thought you were some big shot, acting all confident, rejecting an invitation from a major corporation just to come here and play with these trashy rocks. Ha ha ha, are you an idiot? Su Ming sighed in annoyance, not even bothering to turn around. Asterisk, C asterisk. I recognize him. Yang Ding, the rich young master who specialized in bullying underclassmen in my previous life. How troublesome. He sat down casually at the counter and threw out a challenge. Hey, I'm talking to you guys. Huh? Do you guys dare to bet 5,000 adventure coins that I can get a silver-grade weapon? Yang Ding and his lackey were stunned, speechless at his audacity. A moment later, they burst out laughing as if they'd just heard the funniest joke of the century. Ha ha, he really is an idiot. Yang Ding smirked, his eyes filled with contempt and triumph. This type of weapon embryo stone has a 99.9% chance of producing trash. I've never seen someone so eager to throw their money away. Ha ha ha. We'll see who's giving money to whom. He crossed his arms and tilted his chin up, giving an arrogant order. Then it's a deal. I'll open it right now. Don't even think about going back on your word. The system window popped up, requesting confirmation. Confirm opening the raw stone? Meanwhile, Yang Ding continued his taunts. Let's see if a penniless loser like you can cough up 5,000 for me. Ha ha ha. Su Ming's left eye flashed. The skill activated silently. Clairvoyant eyes has been activated. Through the stone's shell, he could clearly see the form of a crimson sword within. I can see it. A sword with a razor-sharp blade, radiating a brilliant red light, was waiting to be released. Su Ming swung his hand, smashing it against the stone and shouting, "Come out!" An explosion of orange-gold light made Yang Ding and his lackey's eyes go wide with horror. Huh? Impossible. Su Ming's hand gripped the sword's hilt as a powerful shockwave of energy radiated outwards. Asterisk, swing, asterisk. The crowd of students stared, utterly astonished. Ah. Su Ming stood proudly with the longsword in hand as the item notification appeared. Weapon acquired. Black iron blood sword. Grade, low-tier silver. Special trait, blood drinker. After this sword injures a monster, it can absorb the drawn blood to heal the user's wounds. This is a really good weapon. He admired the cold, sharp blade, a knowing smile on his face. And it's just in time for my date tonight. Yang Ding and his cronies were frozen in place, trembling in disbelief. He actually got lucky. Su Ming pointed the sword straight at Yang Ding's face. This sword isn't bad. It even has a lifesteal effect, saving me the trouble of finding a healer. He broke out in a cold sweat. A deal's a deal. In that case, I'll be taking this 5,000 adventure coins. His phone pinged, notifying him of the transfer. Meanwhile, the employee watched nervously as Yang Ding's group stormed off in a huff. 5,000 received. Kid, I'll remember your face. Don't go making bets with people so easily next time. The stats are average. It's been years since anyone in the shop got a weapon from a raw weapon ore. Ignoring the threat, Su Ming turned to the employee. Hello, I also need a suitable scabbard. If I remember correctly, that one costs exactly 5,000 coins, right? Ah, yes sir, please, this way to choose a scabbard. Everyone disperse, this kid just got incredibly lucky. System notification, a new item has been purchased. Silver grade scabbard acquired. Effect, reduces weapon durability loss by 50%. Su Ming satisfyingly sheathed his sword, mentally calculating the costs. With this scabbard, I can significantly reduce the weapon's durability loss. Right now, I don't have enough money to replace this sword anytime soon. No, thank you for your patronage. The system interface displayed a question. Activate the hidden function, weapon materialization. Su Ming smiled and declined. It wasn't time yet. His eyes grew sharp with ambition. I will make this weapon my own. The scene shifts to a bustling basketball court under a blue sky and takes it up another level. In a secluded forest, Su Ming drew his new sword to admire it. In this life, even though I've awakened as a sword god, I don't have a single usable professional skill. But on the professional talent tree, there's an incredibly powerful initial talent. A brilliant golden magic circle appeared beneath his feet. Myriad Things, Sublimation. Myriad Things, Sublimation can upgrade the quality of any loot, such as combat skills, equipment, scrolls, and so on. Any item can only be sublimated directly or indirectly once. His hand glowed, channeling energy into the sword. With this talent alone, it's truly worthy of the gold-grade profession that Sword God represents. The Myriad Things sublimation talent has been activated. The sword transformed, a blazing red aura enveloping the cold, sharp blade. Weapon sublimation successful. Obtained the bloodthirsty effect. High-grade silver mystic iron blood sword. Blood Drinker. After this sword locks onto a target, it can absorb the target's blood through attacks or contact to heal the user's wounds. Bloodthirsty. After killing a monster with this sword, all of the user's stats will temporarily increase by 5 points for 30 seconds. After killing an enemy, I can get a temporary buff that increases all my stats. Not bad. Su Ming sheathed his sword, his gaze confident as he looked to the future. Activate the hidden function. Weapon materialization. Now, tomorrow's beginner dungeon will be much easier. Night fell, and the city's clock tower lit up, signaling that the time had come. By a window overlooking the sparkling city, Su Ming stood silently, sword in hand. On a windy rooftop, the petite figure of a girl was waiting under the moonlight. Ren Xiao Man turned around, seductively brushing her hair back as she playfully chided. You're finally here. You're late, you know? Suddenly, her pupils contracted, reflecting the cold glint of a sword lunging toward her. A ruthless slash tore through the air, aimed straight at her without a hint of hesitation. The harsh clang of metal echoed in the silent night. Ah! Ren Xiaoman leaped back, her hair a mess, and shrieked in panic. What are you doing? She stared at the boy before her, in utter shock. Su Ming. Su Ming stepped out of the shadows, planting his sword in the ground, his cold gaze, a declaration. I'm here for revenge. Ren Xiaoman held up her phone, feigning confusion and hurt. Revenge? What are you talking about? I accepted your confession. The phone screen displayed the sickeningly sweet, fake text messages. That's why I took the initiative to ask you out here. Su, are you there? Su, there's something I want to tell you. What is it? Actually, I've liked you for a long time. Can you go out with me? Okay. I really like you too. Classmate Su Ming. She continued to play the victim, crying out indignantly, "You're the one who wanted to date me, and now you're trying to hurt me?" Su Ming smirked faintly, his gaze distant. But that was in a past life. Memories flooded back, an image of the girl standing out in a crowd. She, who was always recognized as the school belle, was always a prominent figure. At school, as an orphan who never received attention from others, I never thought I'd have the chance to interact with her. I certainly never imagined that on the second day after the awakening ceremony, this pink-haired girl would lean down and ask me with concern, "Classmate Su Ming, are you not feeling well?" She took the initiative to show concern for me. The two of them sat facing each other, bathed in warm sunlight. From that day on, I received her attention. It was the kind of attention I had craved my entire life. The fateful text message appeared clearly. The confession. Images of them sitting back to back in a romantic field of flowers on a date. Touching hands, kisses, and affectionate intimate gestures. And, right after that, a photo of her with his enemy, appearing like a knife twisting in his heart. Those days were the time I cherished most. Su Ming roared with indignation, shattering the flashback. But it was all a lie. He glared, exposing her true face. "I know all about your dirty dealings with Zhang Tang. You were just trying to take advantage of my talent and abilities." Ren Xiao Man stumbled back, breaking into a cold sweat, trying to weakly deny it. "Don't you dare spout such nonsense." Su Ming stepped closer, his overwhelming presence making it hard for her to breathe. "You know perfectly well whether I'm talking nonsense or not. The beautiful and graceful Ren Xiao Man that everyone sees is a lie. In reality, you're just a vain, despicable, and shameless bitch." Ren Xiao Man gritted her teeth, her face contorted with rage and shame. "You!" she screamed hysterically, her true nature finally revealed. "What the hell do you know, you orphan? If your talent wasn't valuable, you wouldn't have even had the chance to talk to me. How dare you call me a bitch? Both me and Zhang Tang will make you pay for this." Su Ming sneered contemptuously, his reply dripping with provocation. "Provoking me? Bring it on. But I'm afraid you should be more worried about how your disgusting little love story will affect that pure and innocent image of yours." Her nerve was struck, and she panicked, cursing under her breath. Damn it. Her hand tightened on the hilt of her sword as killing intent flared in the darkness. Swoosh! Seizing an opening, Nam Tuman lunged forward in a sneak attack. Tumin watched the familiar move with a cold, dark expression, just like the one from his past life. Suddenly, the blade glowed a horrifying crimson, startling her. "Huh?" His eyes were sharp, seeing right through all of her tricks. "You like sneak attacks, don't you?" I was ready for it. The blood sword activated its blood-draining skill, releasing a terrifying red aura that enveloped her. Weapon activated, Blood Drinker. Once the sword locks onto a target, it can absorb the target's blood through attacks or contact to heal its wielder. The trap was set for you from the very beginning when I made you my target. The sword's attack sent her reeling backward in agony. "Ah, my face." Seeing her ruined face in the blade's reflection, she screamed in despair. My face is ruined. You brought this upon yourself. Now, it's time for my revenge." In her madness, she threatened him with her last resort. "I'll have Trong Duong kill you." Tumin looked down with contempt, remembering his own foolishness, forever loving this woman. The light on the sword slowly faded. He turned and walked away, leaving the loser trembling on the ground. "Go back and tell Trong Duong he's welcome to come and settle the score with me. Consider today's slash as the thing I have severed." His lonely silhouette blended into the city night. By shedding the past, this slash also severs the affection I once cherished. His phone vibrated, a notification on the screen interrupting his thoughts. "Good news. Please accept your gift." A newbie gift pack from Principal Vuong appeared with valuable items. 1 blood bone pill, 1 combat attire gift pack, and 10,000 adventure points. This is a newbie gift pack exclusively for you. Student to Min, with your 10-star talent, this is a reward from the school. We hope you can make good use of it and achieve great results in the newbie dungeon. Principal Vuong. Dawn broke. The brilliant golden sunlight signaled the start of a new day. The next day, at 6 a.m., Tumin winced as he swallowed the red pill, tasting the disgusting flavor of the blood bone pill. That old man, the principal, is quite generous. But I think he feels sorry for me for awakening a 10-star talent only to get the Blade Master class, so he wants to help compensate. This thing tastes awful for breakfast. His body began to glow, his level instantly increasing, as a notification announced +10 to all physical attributes. 100 EXP gained, leveled up to a level 2 job holder, received 10 free attribute points. Congratulations on reaching level 2. The system announced the unlocking of a new, extremely powerful talent on the skill board. Passive talent activated. Original sword body. The heart is the source, the natural will of the sword. You can learn all sword system skills, bypassing all restrictions. Su Ming walked through the forest with a confident smile. Just as I expected from my golden 10-star talent. I can learn a new talent at just level 2. I'll show them what I've got in the newbie dungeon today. The grand scene of the gathering area was packed with students. Huyenkin, First Academy, newbie dungeon area. Hurried footsteps approached him, blocking his path. Thump, thump. Su Ming broke into a cold sweat, annoyed by the interruption. Huh? A group of students surrounded him, begging to join his party. Student Su Ming, can we team up with you? With your 10-star talent potential and the principal's newbie gift pack to help, even as a blade master, you can surely clear this newbie dungeon with ease. Let us join you. Our job classes can compensate for a blade master's weaknesses. We can complement each other to increase the contribution value we receive. Su Ming frowned in annoyance, thinking about the crowd's hypocrisy. This bunch. Weren't they the same ones who looked down on my job class yesterday? Such opportunists. Sorry, I already have a team. Just then, Kai Jiao appeared, surprised to hear his refusal. Huh? Su Ming, you already have a team? The girl hurriedly explained, a look of regret on her face. I came here first thing in the morning, hoping to be the first one to team up with you. Kai Jiao, wait, actually. Su Ming looked at her with a serious expression, explaining his real reason. What I'm about to challenge isn't for some ordinary contribution rewards. If you team up with me, Kai Jiao, I'm afraid you'll get hurt. He turned away, muttering his plan, which made Kai Jiao a little sad. I plan to challenge it alone. Oh, I see, my bad. A handsome male student suddenly approached to greet him. You must be student Su Ming, right? I'm Nontrock from class 4. My awakened talent is a 9-star demon hunting ranger. I was wondering if you'd like to join our team, student Su Ming? Su Ming coldly recalled his past and decisively refused. Han Trosh. I remember him. In my past life, he was also a 9-star awakener, just like Kai Jiao. Immediately stood in front of Trosh, protecting Su Ming. Student Su Ming has already teamed up with me. Stop bothering him. Oh, is that so? Sorry for the trouble. Su Ming smiled as he watched Kai Jiao disperse the crowd for him. Everyone, break it up. Move along. Kai Jiao is so reliable. Su Ming looked up at the timer. I think the dungeon is about to open. The space portal glowed brightly, and an announcement rang out. Attention students, the 127th Rookie Dungeon Challenge officially begins now. It's starting. A holographic image of the principal appeared. He scratched his head apologetically. My sincerest apologies. As your principal, I overslept and couldn't be there in person to cheer you on. I can only live stream from home to explain the rules of the Rookie Dungeon. His voice turned serious as he explained the rules of survival. The one-day Rookie Dungeon Challenge is a test that this year's newly awakened must undergo. Every student has been registered. We can identify you the moment you step into the dungeon. Inside the dungeon, each challenger will earn points and settlement rewards based on their individual contributions in the trials. To ensure a high survival rate, it's best to challenge as a team. You only need to complete the dungeon challenge within the day to be considered as having completed the first trial of your life after awakening. Students, the moment that decides your fate has arrived. Are you ready? Kai Jiao nodded with determination, but when he turned around, no one was there. Huh? Where's Su Ming? The principal shouted through the virtual screen. Without further ado, the dungeon is now officially open. A figure shot past at a terrifying speed, stunning everyone. Huh? Someone's already gone in. The students only managed to see a streak of light left behind. Someone recognized the familiar silhouette and shouted, "That's the 10-star genius, Su Ming." Su Ming shot forward like an arrow, piercing through streams of digital data, and leaped into the teleportation gate, leaving everyone behind. In the teleportation space, Su Ming smirked with a nostalgic smile. This rookie dungeon, it feels so familiar. It suddenly makes me miss the past. Back then, I was both scared and excited, running around recklessly, just to earn a few more contribution points. The gate of light opened. Before them, welcoming the new warriors, the new class holders of Blue Star, the multiversal slaughter was about to begin. This place is filled with danger and opportunity. You will complete your trials here. To leave this place and receive your rewards, Besides accumulating enough contribution points by killing regular bosses, there is another, more difficult way. And in this life, I will choose the most difficult challenge. To eliminate the ultimate hidden boss. Here I come. At that moment, a gloomy forest scene appeared. F-rank raging tidal forest. Su Ming landed safely, assessing his surroundings. The map for the rookie dungeon is randomized every year. This place is completely different from the map when I was in this dungeon in my past life. Moreover, he looked up at the sky, analyzing the dungeon's mechanics. All dungeon gate spawn points are random. Therefore, planning a route is different for every challenger. And the monsters you might encounter in the dungeon are also different. In front of him was a giant tree monster with a fiery face. This guy is an elite monster. Although it's immobile like a tree, if its vines lock onto a target, you'll be dragged into the burning hollow on its head and roasted alive. Su Ming opened the locator map, determining his movement strategy. My goal is to challenge the hidden boss. I should try to avoid these troublesome monsters. And the reason I rushed to be the first one into the dungeon was to scout the route ahead of time and find the things I need to challenge the hidden boss. Although the map changes, the way to fight the boss doesn't. It won't change. If more people enter later. He swung his sword, cutting down obstacles in his path as he sped away. Collecting the items will be much more difficult. Let's go. The scene shifts to another corner of the forest at 7:30 a.m., where a blue-haired female student was panting. The girl stopped to observe the deserted teleportation gate. It seemed there were no other challengers nearby. Right, it's so quiet, so it must be safe. Suddenly, her group of friends looked up in alarm when they heard a strange noise. Wait, what's that sound? From the bushes, a dark shadow lunged out at a terrifying speed. Over there, a male student in the group was ambushed, screaming in terror, "Help me!" The rest were utterly horrified by the sight before them. Huh? A horde of ferocious monsters charged forward, baring their fangs and claws. It's a giant, frenzied blood rat. The group of students panicked, their formation breaking as they ran for their lives. Run, split up and run. Outside the dungeon, the notice board updated with tragic news. Real-time dungeon report. 7:31 a.m. 3 challengers have been bitten to death by frenzied blood rats. The strongest among them was a 6-star talent awakener, Li Daibu. Kai Jiao and everyone outside were shocked and extremely worried. Even a 6-star awakener. They haven't even finished forming parties, and the challengers are already dying in the dungeon. Everyone, form your parties, now. The people inside the dungeon need more help. Back inside, the blue-haired girl was still running for her life. Asterisk. Panting heavily, asterisk. She leaned against a tree, her face smudged and terrified. I got separated from them. In the gloomy forest, a chameleon-like creature was stalking the girl. Where is this? I'm completely lost. The girl's eyes widened in terror as she sensed the imminent danger. From the treetops, a massive shadow lunged down with a growl. Grr. The monster revealed itself to be a giant, hairy ape. An ape monster. It swung its massive fist down at the small, helpless girl. Bam. The girl watched in despair as death rushed towards her. Help! The cry for help was stuck in her throat as the blade of death descended. Help! Suddenly, brilliant red slashes tore through the air, shredding the monster to pieces. Another male student hiding nearby witnessed the horrifying scene, panting, as he recalled his own unlucky moment when he encountered a high-level brown bear monster, a level 5 bloodthirsty elite. Why did I have to run into an elite monster right at the start? My luck is the worst. A blood-curdling scream rang out as he was mauled by the bear. Arg! All over the dungeon, monsters were rampaging, slaughtering the newbies. A level 2 swamp hunter. Another group of students was also being relentlessly pursued. A level 3 tracking hound. Desperate cries for help echoed over the shared communication channel. Calling the teleportation hub at the 9 o'clock position on the map, we're surrounded by monsters. Requesting more support. A giant lizard is devastating another team. A level 5 dragon lizard at the 6 o'clock position also needs help. The situation was becoming increasingly dire and chaotic. The 11 o'clock position is also surrounded. Monsters are pouring in endlessly. The purple-haired girl watched her teammates fall in pools of blood towards the center. A team of 5. My teammates. A tragic scene unfolded as the entire team was annihilated. They've all been wiped out. A survivor lay flat on the grass, trembling. If they hadn't told me to hide. The blue-haired girl from before was still cowering in fear. The dungeon had only started half an hour ago. The difficulty of this newbie dungeon is way too high. She wondered in utter despair, can newly awakened students like us really challenge and survive this trial? Suddenly, she looked up, her eyes widening in astonishment at the sight before her. A figure was skillfully dancing with his sword amidst a horde of monsters, creating beautiful arcs of light. The giant monster collapsed to the ground, dissolving into dust before his overwhelming power. Strong. He's so strong. Su Ming sheathed his sword. The girl stammered her thanks and recognized her savior. He killed that monster in an instant. Thank you for saving me. Are you? In the dim light of the dungeon, Su Ming turned around with a cold expression. The 10-star Su Ming? Su Ming gave a faint smile, walking past the girl with a sharp gaze. I was just passing by, but I can't save you a second time. That monster hasn't been killed yet. The girl was stunned, not understanding what was happening before the warning. Huh? The girl started to run. I'll go call for reinforcements for you. Student Su Ming, please try to hold on. Instantly, a special observation skill activated in his eyes. Clairvoyant eyes. The monster's status panel appeared in a blazing red, signaling danger. Vicious beast, mutated ape king. Level 3, strength 28, constitution 24, agility 5, spirit 6, luck 4, skills. Su Ming narrowed his eyes, analyzing, understanding why his silver-grade weapon couldn't finish it off instantly. So, it's a mutated ape king. No wonder it could survive continuous attacks from my silver-grade weapon. In this F-rank dungeon, the monster slammed the ground, creating a massive shockwave. Su Ming swiftly dodged. Boom! He praised inwardly. This guy's speed isn't bad at all. The corner of his mouth curled into a challenging smirk. Well then, let's have a little contest. The skill system inherited from his past life appeared, glowing with a golden light. Inherited from my past life. You have inherited a portion of the skills from the God Slayer class. He chose the third skill, a divine movement technique. Third skill, divine shadow step. Divine shadow step, a movement technique that increases your speed by 50%. Upon activation, you are immune to all physical, magical, and spiritual attacks, and cannot be targeted. Consumes a large amount of stamina upon activation. Su Ming's body glowed, and he shot forward like a streak of blue lightning. His speed skyrocketed, leaving behind an afterimage as he zipped past the giant monster. Speed boost. In the blink of an eye, he appeared right behind the Ape King. I'm right behind you. Wind-slashing strikes rained down, causing the monster excruciating pain. Oof. Slash. Su Ming landed lightly, dusting off his hands arrogantly. Looks like there's no need for a contest after all. How boring. He coldly delivered the finishing blow. I'm done playing with you. The Ape King shattered into pieces of glowing red data. A victory notification appeared. Successfully defeated the vicious beast, mutated Ape King. A golden scroll dropped from the monster's remains. Glimmering with a metallic sheen, the loot obtained was a low-grade bronze straight/skill scroll. Su Ming picked up the item, assessing its value. A straight/skill. Although it's only low-grade bronze, it's not bad for this dungeon. This newbie. Suddenly, a golden light enveloped him, as a resounding announcement echoed out. Ding! First achievement. A server-wide announcement board appeared, honoring the victor. The level 2 player, Swordmaster, has completed the first achievement by defeating the mutated Gorilla King in the Raging Tide Forest. Title awarded. First achievement. The other students in the forest looked up in surprise at the floating announcement board. A dungeon achievement notification. A player successfully killed a monster. And a mutated one at that. The title's reward fell into the hands of an injured, blue-haired girl, saving her life in the nick of time. Dungeon title reward. All players in the dungeon receive one small recovery potion. I'm saved. I really needed to replenish my health. Everyone buzzed with discussion about the identity of the mysterious person who had just made this achievement. Could that Swordmaster be Su Ming from the First Academy? Oh right. Su Ming is a 10-star Swordmaster. It might not be him. There are a few Swordmasters from the neighboring cities combined this year. Su Ming, holding the brilliant golden notification, suddenly remembered an oversight. Damn it, I forgot. He worriedly considered how to hide his identity from the system. The game's title system will expose my power. I'll have to be more careful from now on and use my absolute camouflage skill to hide it beforehand. I just didn't expect that even after half an hour in the dungeon, no other player had managed to kill a monster yet. While running through the forest, he suddenly stopped upon hearing a strange noise. Humph. A ferocious wolf stepped out from the bushes, its eyes gleaming. A level 3 hungry wolf. Su Ming hid behind a tree, smiling smugly as he found his test subject. Perfect. A wolf monster. One of the 3 classic common monster types for newbie grinding. Perfect. I can test out my new sword type attack skill. Su Ming thought to himself about the wise decision he'd just made. I just used my innate skill, Universal Ascension. The system panel displayed the skill upgrade process. Upgrading the low-tier bronze rank straight/skill scroll I got from killing the mutated gorilla. The Universal Ascension skill has been activated. New skill acquired. Low-tier silver rank sword draw slash. Sheath the sword, focus your spirit, and attack in a single slash. A hungry wolf snarled fiercely, baring its fangs and claws as it lunged forward. Roar. Suddenly, a massive, crescent-shaped wave of sword energy swept across the forest, tearing through the air. The monster was struck by the slash, a fatal wound, as fresh blood sprayed everywhere. The system continuously announced his rapidly increasing experience points. You have killed a hungry wolf, plus 80 experience points. Su Ming charged into the wolf pack like a whirlwind, slaughtering them without mercy. You have killed a hungry wolf, plus 800 experience points. You have killed a hungry wolf, plus 8,000 experience points. Time passed, and at 9:30 a.m., Su Ming stood proudly amidst the blood-soaked battlefield. A level-up light enveloped him, marking a major step forward. Congratulations, your level has increased to level 9. Title received. Legend of the Hungry Wolf. Su Ming looked at the battlefield with satisfaction, analyzing his strategy. Successfully using the long-range attack property of Sword Draw Slash makes grinding low-level hungry wolves much more efficient. Drawing the blade from the scabbard, he slowly drew the sword from its sheath, a cold, powerful silver light flashing. The energy stored in the scabbard began to compress. His eyes lit up as the energy was generated, accumulating over a certain period, locking onto the target. His gaze became incredibly sharp, focusing all his power into the slash. Su Ming launched himself into the air, swinging his sword to create a perfect arc at terrifying speed. Two hungry wolves below stared blankly up at the Grim Reaper's scythe descending upon their heads. A blue energy explosion erupted, wiping out everything within its attack range. Suddenly, Su Ming's eyes narrowed as he sensed an unusual killing intent from within the smoke. A massive dark figure shot out, launching a surprise attack from the cloud of dust. Whoosh! An alpha wolf with fiery eyes appeared, radiating pressure, a level 10 alpha wolf king. Rewind to 1 hour earlier, at the gathering area for the other students. At 8:30 a.m., the students began to team up. Fists bumped in a show of unity, party formation successful. Qi Jiao led a large group, rallying everyone to advance with high spirits. Let's go, we formed a team too. Follow me, they quickly entered the gate. They charged into the monster encirclement, bravely supporting each other in battle. Counterattack, counterattack, the main force is coming. A male student put all his strength into stabbing an enemy with his sword. He shouted, "Hiya!" The monster was taken down, blood gushing out thanks to the newbie's perfect teamwork. Another male student quickly finished off a monster that was about to ambush his teammate, saving him in the nick of time. Looks of astonishment mixed with joy appeared as they saw experience points flying in continuously. EXP! The group cheered as they took down a large monster, successfully defeating a mutated field mouse. Finally, we finally killed a special monster. We can win! We can win! A male student shed tears of joy as he saw the pillar of level-up light surrounding him. The main force is here. We won't lose to the player with the first achievement, who sent us potions. Finally, I leveled up. Another student stared at the announcement board in shock. It happened again. Another announcement about a player getting the first kill on a boss monster. He screamed in disbelief as he saw the player's information. Level 9. A fisherman? What the hell? How can a life skill class be this strong? And he's already level 9? Rewind to 10 minutes ago, inside the dungeon. 10 minutes ago, a fiery clash created a burst of blue light in the middle of the forest. The monster's health bar dropped rapidly during the fierce battle. Su Ming unleashed a powerful slash, and fresh blood spurted from the monster's neck. Asterisk swish, asterisk, he leaped high, delivering the final blow to the snarling giant wolf. Don't think you're special just because you're a wolf king. Su Ming's face was a mask of overwhelming arrogance and confidence. Your opponent is me. The blade pierced through the monster's head. He declared his true identity, a reincarnator. A golden system panel appeared, announcing his resounding victory. Congratulations, you have killed the Silverback Wolf King. Experience points plus 500. Congratulations, you have leveled up to level 10. Sword draw / proficiency plus 145. Thunder Rush sword style proficiency plus 100. Loot obtained. Bones, iron cutting claws. Wolf King's heart. Back in the present, in another corner of the forest, Duong Din was slaughtering monsters like a madman. Asterisk. Stab. Asterisk. He panted, looking at the corpses of the starved wolves scattered around. After all that effort, I finally took care of this pack of starved wolves. The lackey beside him was overjoyed, misunderstanding the source of his power. Luckily, that attack power-up scroll we got from the dungeon title reward came just in time. Without it, we would have been wiped out. Level 9. A fisherman. Duong Din angrily crushed a monster's corpse, roaring in frustration. Is there something wrong with this dungeon? How can a life skill master level up to 9 so fast? It's practically mocking us players. He swung his dull sword and threw it away to vent his anger. Looking at the weapon, he grew even more bitter as he recalled the past. The damage on this crappy beginner's dagger is too low. If I hadn't been scammed out of my money by that kid at the weapon shop, I would have at least gotten a silver-grade weapon by now. Brother Duong Din, that kid's luck is just too good. He turned and yelled at his terrified lackeys. Shut up, you useless freeloaders. I'm the one who's been tanking all the hits, and I even shared the experience with you guys. After killing so many wolves, I've only reached level 2. I'm the biggest idiot of them all. The image of Su Ming appeared in his mind, a thorn in his side. This is so infuriating. I don't know if that kid has entered the dungeon yet. If I run into him, I'll destroy him. It'll be a good way to blow off some steam. His lackey quickly tried to console him. Boss, don't be angry. Brother Duong Din, we've all reached level 2 now. Continuing to grind wolves will get easier. Humph. Meanwhile, Su Ming was squatting in front of a bush, smiling smugly. Level 10. Here it is. A special quest notification panel appeared before him. Congratulations on reaching level 10. Activating the primary job change quest. The quest content is randomly selected based on your current situation. In this life, the first job change quest still triggers at level 10. He stared at the quest panel, his eyes gleaming with excitement. The most important thing is, the opportunity has arrived. Memories of his past powerlessness flooded back. In my previous life, when I reached level 10, I had already left the beginner's dungeon. Because of that, the randomly generated first job change quest matched the higher difficulty E-rank dungeon that I was challenging at the time. E-rank. Back then, I was completely unable to complete a challenge of the same level. He recalled that difficult period. I had to spend a considerable amount of time grinding to level 15 before I could go back and complete the first job change quest. That significantly reduced the benefits of the rewards I received from it. But this life is different. I've raised my level to 10, right inside the beginner's dungeon. Thus, the new quest appeared, just as he had expected. Congratulations on activating the first job change quest. Kill the Guardian of the Red Rock Cave. It's a powerful elite monster. Quest location, Red Rock Cave, inside the Raging Tide Forest. There it is. The quest content is indeed within the beginner's dungeon. Su Ming stood up, grabbing the virtual quest card. This makes things much easier. He confidently planned his next move. Next, I just need to dump all the points I got from leveling up into agility. This first job change quest is already in the bag. A notification for an extremely powerful passive skill appeared, making him even stronger. Congratulations. Your agility attribute has broken the 100-point mark. You have received the Sword God class skill, Sword Master. Sword Master, passive skill. Quality, low-grade platinum. Proficiency, 0 out of 100. You can equip any sword-type weapon at any level, ignoring all requirements. At the same time, in the meeting room of Xuanjing City's first academy, Principal Wang stood before a large screen displaying the ranking board. Principal, the Novice Dungeon data rankings for the powerful talents in the neighboring cities are in. Novice Dungeon CJ 144. Rank 1 is LV8, Li Chengguang. Rank 2 is LV7 Yanzi. And rank 3 is LV6, Wang Zhao. Huh? Is someone missing from the statistics? He turned to the technician and asked anxiously, Where's Su Ming, the one I had such high hopes for? No one is missing, Principal. This is all the data returned from the dungeon. The principal stared at the screen, confused and disappointed. But at 8 o'clock, the dungeon's first blood data showed it was a sword master. That must have been young Su Ming, the one I'm concerned about. Principal, that was just the first blood title. Although his class is sword master, he was born with a full 10 stars in his attributes. On top of that, I gave him the novice gift package. Even if his skills are lacking, he should be able to kill a few monsters with pure, raw power. How could he not even be in the top 500? Suddenly, the meeting room door burst open with a violent slam. A woman walked in with an angry expression, shouting, Tell me what's going on here. Principal Wang, this is An Ranling, the vice mayor of Xuanjing City. She threw a file onto the table, questioning him harshly. You said your school produced a very good seed this year, a 10-star awakened one, named Su Ming, wasn't it? My secretary already showed me his novice dungeon data. Principal Wang tried to calm her down, but his voice was full of anxiety. The student, Su Ming, whom you recommended, is nowhere to be found on the list. Vice Mayor An, please don't get agitated. Although Su Ming has 10-star talent, his class is Sword Master, so his early game combat power will be a bit weaker. The Vice Mayor cut off his explanation, refusing to accept the excuse. Even if he is a Sword Master, it's impossible for him not to even make it into the top 500. Stop with the excuses, Principal Wang. I think you just lied to me about your student's strength to get more qualification cards for the Sky Tower Council this year. I really didn't. From the current data, your school only has Yanzei, a 9-star talent with the hidden class Demon Hunting Ranger. Currently ranked 2nd, he has potential. He's the best candidate to compete with the genius Li Chengguang from the neighboring city this year, she continued, listing another potential name. There's also someone else I know. The official son of the Zhang family, Zhang Tong. Hidden class Magic Hammer Warrior, born with 8 stars. He's currently ranked 4th and has great potential. Therefore, I see that I can only give you 2 qualification cards for the Sky Tower Council. Didn't each school get 3 cards in previous years? Who told your academy to be last for the past 2 years? If the students achieve good results later, we'll reconsider then. I'm busy. I'll be leaving now. The Sky Tower Council is a crucial path for receiving missions, collecting rewards, and increasing one's strength. We absolutely cannot lose our qualification to participate in the Sky Tower Council. Principal Wang looked sadly at the 2 badges in his hand. He muttered in disappointment. I originally thought that with a student who awakened a 16-star talent this year, we could secure 1 more card, but now we've actually lost one. The image of Su Ming appeared in his mind, but it wasn't resentment, it was worry. Su Ming, you have to do your best and not let me down. Meanwhile, outside the Red Rock Cave, Su Ming was observing cautiously. He checked the map again to confirm his location. The map indicates the mission is here. Luckily, I didn't run into any annoying little monsters on the way. Looking into the dark mouth of the cave, he frowned thoughtfully. I didn't visit this place in my past life. Who knows what kind of monsters will appear? His eyes sharpened as he sensed a killing intent from within the cave. A green-skinned monster with blood-red eyes suddenly rushed out. A level 6 gold mining goblin. Su Ming was startled. He recognized the familiar, yet dangerous, type of monster. Goblins! The ferocious goblins charged forward, and Su Ming swung his sword. Blood splattered everywhere as he finished it off instantly. His eyes coldly analyzed the situation. He quickly climbed up the cliff face. To avoid being surrounded, I can't let you guys alert the entire cave. Suddenly, a bright red notification panel appeared before his eyes. The system has activated the Goblin Nest event. Goblin mode has been activated. The thundering sound of footsteps echoed from all around, signaling a large-scale attack. Thump, thump, thump. Su Ming broke out in a cold sweat. He realized the situation was more serious than he'd thought. From deep within the cave, countless pairs of glowing red eyes lit up the darkness. This first class change mission isn't as simple as I imagined. A danger warning appeared on his interface screen. All goblins inside the Red Rock Cave will launch a ferocious attack on you. Beside, it was a sarcastic explanation of Goblin Mode. Goblin Mode, a self-indulgent lifestyle that goes against social norms without feeling guilt. Manifested through laziness, sloppiness, or greedy behavior, the goblins roared wildly, charging towards him as one. The flood. Roar. Roar. Tamin calmly ran to face the sea of monsters. Although their levels weren't high, they overwhelmed him with sheer numbers. He gritted his teeth, worried about his weapon's durability. I don't know if my weapon's durability can handle this. Suddenly, a giant goblin appeared from behind, swinging its knife in a sneak attack. Humph. As swift as lightning, Tamin dodged the blow. The blade scraped past, creating a shower of sparks. The dense horde of goblins swarmed him from all sides, not giving him a single second to rest. Tamin parried a blow while praising the monster's intelligence. These guys are actually pretty smart. He flipped in midair, dodging a rain of incoming arrows. They know it's hard for me to make evasive maneuvers while airborne. 2 goblins lunged at him from the flanks. Roar. Tamin quickly blocked the attack. His stamina began to drop rapidly. My MP, in the early stages, isn't enough to support using Godspeed for a long time. A giant elite goblin appeared, slamming down a heavy weapon. A group of goblins, plus an elite one. Tamin was surrounded on all sides, his life hanging by a thread. Tamin gave a bitter smile and thought to himself, knowing his own weakness at this point, someone completely lacking skills in the early game. He crouched and leaped backward. His sharp eyes calculated his strategy. Killing them head-on is a bit difficult, so I'll just have to be a little more flexible. Leaning back to narrowly avoid the sharp blade, he let out a smirk. The goblins were stunned as their attack hit empty air, and in that same moment, he had quickly hidden behind a large rock. Tu Min curled his lip in provocation as a thick, killing intent began to radiate from him. "Come on, you little demons." The entire horde of monsters bared their fangs and claws aggressively. They rushed in to tear their lone prey to pieces. He swung his sword, creating a massive wave of energy that swept across them. "Here's a gift for you all." The flash of the sword swept by, and fresh blood splattered, dyeing the cave walls red. Tu Min moved coldly through the encirclement. His blade took the lives of his enemies without a hint of hesitation. He kicked off the cliff wall and leaped high, taking a more advantageous position. "As long as I can secure the high ground." From above, he swung his sword, creating a terrifying shockwave down below. "I'll be able to maximize the advantage of my quick-draw slash." Tu Min landed lightly amidst the rubble and thick dust. The massive body of the elite goblin collapsed to the ground after a finishing blow that came from nowhere. Tu Min stood in the middle of the battlefield. He looked towards the boss's corpse. "Looks like you're the only one left." The elite goblin captain's health bar was completely empty, signaling the death of the cave's leader. The scene shifts to the bushes outside. Duong Din and his cronies were lurking. Over there," he whispered his scheme to his underling. "When I was scouting the path, I noticed the sounds of battle coming from inside that cave." The anxious underling argued back. "Boss, don't be ridiculous. The system says this area has monsters level 7 or higher. With the current monsters, who would dare to challenge what's inside right now? But I really did hear fighting from in there." Suddenly, Duong Din narrowed his eyes as he saw a strange movement at the cave entrance. "Humph." A figure stepped out from the hazy smoke and dust. "It looks like someone's coming out." Duong Din stared suspiciously at the mysterious shadow. Who would dare to farm monsters here at a time like this? His pupils shrank as he recognized that detestably familiar face. "It's Tu Min." He walked out, thinking about the irony of fate. What a small world. Duong Din smirked triumphantly. He recognized him as the kid who won the sword bet against me, while Tu Min was still thinking about the mission he just completed. Tu Min thought, this first advancement mission is really interesting, but that was a close call, even though I made it out safely. Tu Min glanced to the side. He noticed a hostile gaze. "Humph." Without a word, Duong Din rushed forward, launching a powerful sneak attack from behind. Tu Min leaned back, dodging the blow in an instant, leaving Duong Din stunned. He panicked and shouted orders to his underlings when he saw his attack fail. He actually dodged it. "Surround him, don't let him escape." Tu Min stood there calmly, his icy gaze fixed on his old enemy. "What? I wasn't planning on running away," he replied. "You caused me a huge loss that day." Duong Din uttered a threat. "Today, you can blame your own bad luck for letting me catch you in this dungeon." "What's wrong? Scared yet?" Tu Min narrowed his eyes in annoyance, thinking, "You people." Right after, Tu Min suddenly asked with a clueless expression, "I'm sorry, who are you again?" Duong Din cried out in disbelief. "Oh my god, he completely forgot about us." Duong Din gritted his teeth so hard they could shatter, roaring in his mind. Damn it, he really forgot all about winning my 5,000 advent coins in that bet. He was furious. He screamed an order, "Get him, kill him together." Tu Min calmly replied, "Just because I don't remember you, there's no need to resort to violence." He smirked as a cross-shaped object began to form in his hand. He thought to himself, "If it's come to this, then let me test out my new skill." The strange object emitted a brilliant red energy. The stream of energy shot forward, piercing through the enemy in a flash. The sword control art skill was activated. A red light flashed, forming sharp sword paths. The swirling sword energy left no one a chance to escape. Escape. The underlings collapsed amidst Tsan the screams. Tu Min thought to himself, a perfect success, his eyes turning ice cold. His hand expertly controlled the flow of sword energy. Duong Din stammered in horror as he witnessed the scene before him. "Sword control technique," he screamed in despair. "How is this possible? That's a skill a swordsman can only learn in the mid-tier stages." The sword hovered in the air, radiating an overwhelming killing intent. Tu Min recalled the process of obtaining this skill. He explained in his thoughts, "The sword control technique is a skill I got from a silver-tier skill scroll. It dropped when I killed an elite goblin. I upgraded it to a gold-tier skill scroll using my universal sublimation talent, and then I opened it by chance. I never expected to get such a fitting skill like the sword control technique. This way, when the news spreads, they'll be even more certain that I belong to the swordsman class." He continued his train of thought. "More importantly, after clearing out the goblins and completing the Red Rock Cave, I received a hidden location blueprint from the final reward of the first advancement quest. A system notification popped up. 'You have opened the hidden blueprint,'" he exclaimed in surprise. "Huh? Information on the blueprint appeared. Hidden treasure coordinates. Red Rock Cave. Part 2. He broke into a sweat thinking, why is it Red Rock Cave again? He continued reading the text. The commerce and life of goblins. The life of goblins. Ugh. The scene changes to another location at 11:30 in the morning, where a group of female adventurers are celebrating their victory. We did it. The blonde girl, who seemed to be the leader, said joyfully, we finally cleared out all the monsters in this area together. Who says an all-female team can't survive? Another member added. We really have to thank Sister Pan Pan, the 7-star awakened one who carried the team. Let's go divide the loot. The female leader turned to a teammate and asked, how are you? Not too tired, are you? Meanwhile, another person was already eagerly searching for drops. Let's see what good stuff dropped. The girl who was asked replied, no, I'm fine. Suddenly, the female leader froze in surprise. She looked around the misty area. The teammate from just a moment ago was nowhere to be seen. Where did that teammate go? She suddenly let out a terrified scream. The teammate's figure faded and then vanished into the mist. She screamed in panic. Where is she? Where did she go? She recalled in shock. Wasn't she just dividing the loot a second ago? She looked down at the empty ground and thought with a tremor. Wait, the monsters in this area were supposed to be cleared out. There's nothing on the ground. Her pupils contracted in absolute terror. How can this be? Did she really? A blood-curdling scream echoed through the space. Back to Su Ming. He was viewing the detailed information from the blueprint. The title was The Goblin's Way of Life, describing their habitat and social structure. The information continued to appear. Even in harsh environments, goblins will use any means necessary to plunder female creatures of any species to maintain their birth rate, short reproductive cycles, early sexual maturity, forming a rapid cycle of birth, maturation, and reproduction again. Su Ming exclaimed in horror, what the hell is this? He immediately ran off with a panicked expression, unable to believe what he had just read. Why is the lore about goblins in this life so bizarre? The blueprint screen announced. Coordinates reached. He stopped in the middle of a forest and wondered, is this the place? He looked around, confused. But there are only trees here. Where's the cave? Are the coordinates wrong? He looked up, noticing a thick fog beginning to envelop the surroundings. A creature appeared in his line of sight. Now I get it. Because it's called Red Rock Cave, Part 2. Everyone would naturally assume it's also in a mountain cave location. He continued his deduction. But this time, it has to be combined with the element of buried treasure. He looked down at the deep abyss below and realized, so the actual location is an underground lair. Looking at the hazy entrance amidst the smoke, he remarked, quite clever. They're using smoke to conceal the entrance. Without a moment's hesitation, he jumped straight down. His eyes sharpened as he observed the situation from above. He carefully observed the goblin lair. He looked at the goblin guard and told himself, I've really learned something this time. Killing even one of them will alert the entire goblin nest. He reminded himself of his main objective. I'm only here for the treasure. Suddenly, an unexpected sight caught his eye. Below, a girl was being restrained by a goblin. He recognized her as one of the female students undertaking the trial. It seems they were ambushed by the smoke trap. He frowned, his face filled with disgust. These things really are as disgusting as the rumors say. The desperate screams of another girl echoed from a distance. No, don't come near me. Su Ming sat on a high ledge, observing the situation. Another girl was cornered, screaming in despair, no. Su Ming calculated silently, there's still one challenger left alive. Perfect timing. She can draw the goblin's attention. That will make it much easier for me to dig up the treasure. He coldly watched the scene unfold before him. In that case, I'll just have to let her die. You can only blame yourself for being too weak for this newbie dungeon. The girl screamed through her tears. I don't want to play anymore. Somebody save me. I'll reward you handsomely. She screamed even louder, hoping someone would hear. Is anyone there? My sister is the vice president of the Zhang Xuan financial group. The goblins snarled and charged forward. All the girl could do was let out a blood-curdling scream. Just then, a giant sword descended from the sky. It plunged right into the middle of the goblin horde. Su Ming leaped down from the cliff, his eyes filled with determination as a smirk played on his lips. Gathering power in both hands, he roared, Sword control art, withdraw. A blazing red energy converged on the sword's hilt. A slash of energy shot out, engulfing the entire cave. He recalled what he knew about goblins. They lived in places like caves and underground tunnels, deep forests or ancient ruins. They fear strong light, so these locations help them hide and stay concealed. He landed softly amidst the dust and smoke. The plan was clear. Exploit the goblin's weakness to light, The energy released by the sword slash was accompanied by an intense flash of light. He moved quickly, approaching the girl in danger. As long as I don't kill a single goblin. He swept the girl into his arms and made a swift retreat. After a while, the exhausted girl said, I can't run anymore. He continued his train of thought. This way. I won't alert the other goblins in the cave. The girl was surprised to see that the goblins weren't chasing them. Su Ming calmly thought, they're not giving chase. Just as I thought. Once they were safe, the girl whispered, thank you for saving me. My name is Zhang Xuan. Su Ming froze. A familiar image flashed through his mind. So she really is the girl from that photo. Su Ming replied coldly, don't thank me. I was just passing by. Zhang Xuan hurriedly called after him, wait, when I get out of this game, I'll reward you handsomely. My sister is, he cut her off bluntly. We can talk about that later. If you make it out alive. Zhang Xuan pleaded desperately, please, don't leave me behind. But he didn't even turn his head. Don't follow me. I've already saved you once. With your strength, you'll only slow me down. Despite his words, Zhang Xuan stubbornly followed him. Su Ming, who was focused on the treasure map, was startled and turned around. She looked at him, confused. He glanced at the locator device, which was glowing brightly, and thought to himself, the treasure must be here. Zhang Xuan asked nervously, those goblins. They're not following us. Are they? Su Ming replied while carefully searching. No, I've already checked. Suddenly, he exclaimed, found it. Before them was a silver chest. He immediately recognized it as the highest grade item drop from this dungeon level. A silver quality random lottery chest. He smiled. A golden light enveloped the chest. And now, I'll use my ascension of all things talent to upgrade the chest's quality. Zhang Xuan gasped in amazement. Whoa. A dazzling golden light radiated from Su Ming's hand. He said, with satisfaction, it's a low-grade, gold-tier lottery chest. He explained further, as a lottery wheel appeared from the chest. Just as the name implies, a lottery chest has a high probability of randomly drawing higher-level items, skill books, or equipment. He said excitedly, come on. What kind of good stuff will I get? 2 items materialized from the light. A system notification appeared. Congratulations. You have received a lowly photo set and a Healing Soul Master skill scroll. Su Ming's face was a mask of disappointment. Ugh, is this all I get from the extra reward I worked so hard for in my first class change quest? The lowly photo set actually looks pretty good, but what the hell is this? This platinum grade Healing Soul Master skill scroll is way beyond what I expected. It's completely incompatible with my class. Zhang Xuan spoke up timidly. Excuse me, could it be because I'm here? Su Ming was surprised. Huh? The girl explained shyly. My awakened class is a 7-star Healing Soul Master. Su Ming was completely speechless. Suddenly, a system notification popped up. Zhang Xuan has joined your party. You have become the party leader. The scene shifts to the dungeon area at the 9 o'clock position. A bloody massacre was taking place. A cold-faced young man stood amidst a pile of corpses, smoke billowing around him. A survivor pointed towards her. Over here, that man uttered a cruel remark. The weak have only one path, death. Then he roared. Next. He swung his weapon towards Ji Jiao. It's your turn. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. Without a hint of hesitation, she summoned a giant skeleton, which rose from the ground. Once again, the scene changes, this time to 12:30 in the afternoon. A battle quickly broke out in the forest below. Ji Jiao was now cautiously climbing a steep cliff. She hid behind a rock outcropping, holding her breath as she watched. She carefully peeked her head out to get a look. Suddenly, the figure's gaze flicked upwards. Ji Jiao was terrified when she was spotted. He swooped down from above, attacking her fiercely and roaring. Let's play a game of eagle catching the chick. Ji Jiao gritted her teeth in pain, one of her shoulders already bleeding. Her eyes glinted with hatred as she faced her enemy. They both landed on a ledge. Meng Hu dusted off his hands and said with a condescending tone, I really didn't expect a little chick. A thing like you managed to withstand my hunt for this long. He slowly circled her, his words dripping with mockery. You've wasted quite a bit of my time. I have to commend you. For a girl, you've actually got some guts. It seems your Xuanting Academy isn't entirely filled with trash. Qi Jiao shouted in anger. Why is your uniform clearly that of a student from the Wuqing Academy in the neighboring Wuyang city? She continued to question him. Why would you come to our area's newbie dungeon just to slaughter innocent people? Man Hu let out a horrifying chuckle as a quest window appeared before him. Haha, for no particular reason. It's just that my level 10 class advancement quest just so happened to assign me the task of killing 50 players. The look on Qi Jiao's face turned to one of sheer horror. He continued to explain nonchalantly, with a quest like this, I can't just go on a killing spree in my own city's dungeon area. So, I had no choice but to take a private jet to the newbie dungeon in this area. He smirked with a wicked grin. And kill everyone. I say, if you want to blame someone, blame your academy for having the most trash students among all the cities. Manhwa lunged forward, ready to deliver the final blow. If you're going to pick a target, you pick the weakest one. Qi Jiao didn't flinch. She raised her hand, and a purple magic circle appeared at her feet. She shouted, summon undead, low-level skeleton, but Manhwa easily shattered the skeleton with a single strike. He roared, these low-level skeleton toys of yours can't even withstand a single slash from me. He glared at her with fierce determination. I won't let you escape this time. He swung his greatsword, creating a massive wave of red energy aimed straight at her. Bloodblade, Flying Thorn. Just as the attack was about to hit Qi Jiao, a streak of green light suddenly flew in, blocking its path. The two energy waves collided, creating a massive explosion. Manhwa angrily turned and yelled, "Who's there?" From the darkness of the forest, a group of people emerged as a voice called out. Student Qi Jiao, we'll provide cover for you. Qi Jiao recognized them, thinking to herself, it's those classmates from before. The scene shifts to Su Ming. The system clock shows 12 o'clock noon. A system notification appears. Submit treasure fragment. Su Ming smiled with satisfaction. With this, the mission is considered complete. Instantly, the system notification panel displayed a flood of information. Main class advancement quest. Complete. Upgraded to first class advancement. Sword God. All attributes +10. Talent. Mythical origin sword body. Effect. Sword skill power enhancement doubled. Sword skill speed doubled. Sword skill proficiency gain doubled. He said to himself with confidence. With this, I'll have more confidence to challenge this dungeon's hidden boss. Jiang Yunqing, standing beside him, couldn't help but be amazed. Wow. In that time, she had also just finished learning a new skill. The system announced, Soul Healer Skill Scroll has been successfully used. The details of the new skill appeared before them both. Acquired skill, Soul Power Blessing, Platinum Tier Advanced Skill, Proficiency 0 out of 300,000, consumes soul power to use. When activated, the experience points gained by everyone in your party increases by 200%. Both Su Ming and Jiang Yunqing cried out in astonishment. What? A 200% experience boost? Su Ming looked at the blushing Jiang Yunqing, filled with admiration. I can't believe she could randomly get this god-tier leveling skill. Her luck is insane. A mischievous thought flashed through Su Ming's mind. He turned to the girl and announced clearly, I've changed my mind. Earlier, you said you wanted me to carry you through the newbie dungeon. I agree. Jiang Yunqing cheered with delight. Really? That's great, she said happily. The hired thugs my sister paid to recruit for me didn't make it out of the goblin cave. But with a brave solo player like you who charged into the goblin cave leading the way, it will definitely be much safer. Su Ming thought to himself. Sigh. Even though I don't really like these rich kids who pay to take shortcuts, I have no choice because of her skill. Suddenly, a message notification appeared before him. He was surprised. It's a message from Qi Jiao. Back at the battle, Manhwa was swinging his blade, attacking the classmates who had just arrived to help Qi Jiao. He unleashed a brutal slash. A brave, blue-haired boy raised his bow to block the attack, but Manhwa's power was overwhelming. The boy exclaimed in shock, No, he broke through my skill. Another teammate screamed in despair, Hi, but it was too late. The Bloodblade Flying Thorn skill had already pierced through him. Manhwa stood there, coldly watching his victim collapse. The blue-haired boy whispered, This guy is too strong. All my teammates have fallen. He looked towards Qi Jiao and said, I never expected the Wuqing Academy to have such a powerful awakened. Not many people have this kind of strength. I did some research before challenging the newbie dungeon. A peerlessly strong awakened who uses a blade in the dark forest. Li Chengguang stood there, the blade in his hand glowing with a cold, blue light, exuding a powerful aura, a lethal danger. His face revealed a smug look as his identity was revealed. The awakened genius from the neighboring city of Wuyang, Li Chengguang, a 10-star innate talent with the hidden profession of a berserker. Looking down at the two weak figures below, he clicked his tongue. Now there are only two left. You people have wasted far too much of my time. My progress is still only 35 out of 50. At the same time, Qi Jiao thought desperately, as a ranged class, I can't deal with him if I can't create distance. My mana is depleted. I can't summon any more spirits for cover. The blue-haired boy, Yanze, turned. His face showing clear anxiety, he asked with a final shred of hope, "Classmate Ji Jiao, can we still wait for reinforcements?" Ji Jiao looked at the message she had just sent to Su Ming, her heart sinking as she replied in despair, "No, there are no reinforcements." Hearing this, Li Chengguang let out a contemptuous sneer, "Looks like you're all isolated and helpless." Then he roared, lunging forward with astonishing speed, aiming straight for Yanze. "Then I'll slaughter you annoying archer first." In that split second, Ji Jiao screamed, using all her strength to push Yanze away. "Yanze, run." She stood resolutely in front of her teammate, her eyes firm and decisive. "I'll hold him off here." Ji Jiao raised her weapon to block the direct attack, but Li Chengguang just roared in anger. "You're overestimating yourself." His blade pressed closer, his eyes filled with contempt as he growled, "A weakling like you has no right to save others." With that, a violent burst of energy erupted, sending Ji Jiao flying. Yanze, standing behind her, witnessed the scene and screamed her name in despair. Ji Jiao, but just then, a familiar figure suddenly descended from above. Yanze looked up, unable to believe his eyes. It was Su Ming. A flicker of hope ignited in his mind. He absolutely had the power to save everyone. Rewind a few seconds. Su Ming was standing in a cave when he froze, reading Ji Jiao's message. "Su Ming, there's danger in the 9 o'clock direction. You absolutely must not come near." Memories of his past life suddenly flooded back, the image of Ji Jiao risking everything to save him, appearing vividly. He murmured, "In my past life, Ji Jiao, you saved me without any fear of danger." He looked towards the dark forest, his gaze resolute. "In this life, you're the one in danger." He clenched his fist, looking at the message again, his heart filled with emotion. Ji Jiao's message. "Even then, you still prioritized protecting others." Without a second of hesitation, he shot off like an arrow. As soon as he arrived, a stunned Ji Jiao yelled, "Su Ming, didn't I tell you it was dangerous here?" Her eyes were filled with utter shock and worry. Su Ming landed gently right in front of her, a faint pink energy surrounding his feet. He turned back to look at her, speaking warmly. "In this life, stop always worrying about others first." Then, he gave a confident and warm smile. "This life, I'll be the one to protect you." Instantly, Su Ming's sword vibrated, creating a torrent of pink sword energy. The blade flew through the air, causing Li Chengguang to shout in astonishment, "Blade control art." Immediately after, the sword let out a whoosh and flew back into Su Ming's hand. Su Ming had already appeared right in front of Li Chengguang, leaving him to only stammer, "You." With a razor-sharp gaze, Su Ming swung his sword, and Li Chengguang finally recognized his opponent. He exclaimed in terror, "It's that 10-star swordsman." Then Su Ming gave him no more time, his eyes as cold as ice. He growled, "You red-haired bastard." Su Ming roared, unleashing a continuous flurry of sword strikes. His voice was filled with rage. "You're the one who hurt Ji Jiao." Witnessing Su Ming's power, Yanze couldn't help but be amazed and excited. A 10-star Su Ming is incredible. If I provide ranged support, we'll have a chance to win. Suddenly, green streams of healing magic enveloped him, leaving Yanze stunned. "Huh?" He and Ji Jiao turned in astonishment to see a strange girl raising a staff, wondering, "Who's healing us?" Then he realized the girl was looking at him. The girl with short green hair smiled confidently and introduced herself. "I'm Su Ming's teammate. My name is Jiang Yunqing, a soul healer." Ji Jiao and Yanze were surprised. Jiang Yunqing continued, "I'll help heal you guys." Ji Jiao exclaimed, "Oh my god, it's amazing to have a healer." Jiang Yunqing seemed a bit embarrassed, "But I'm not quite used to using my healing skills yet, so it might take a little time." Meanwhile, Ji Jiao wondered, didn't Su Ming say he wouldn't form a party? Why does he have a teammate now? Yanze spoke anxiously to Jiang Yunqing. "Sorry to bother you, but I hope you can hurry. It's very dangerous for Su Ming to face that guy alone." Jiang Yunqing reassured him, "There's no need to worry so much." Yanze was surprised. Jiang Yunqing looked towards the battle, her eyes filled with trust. Su Ming is incredibly strong. At the same time, on the battlefield, Su Ming and Li Chengguang clashed at breakneck speed. The sound of their weapons rang out, relentlessly. Li Thonquang gritted his teeth as he parried, thinking to himself, "Isn't this Tamin guy supposed to be just a swordsman? I can't believe he has movement techniques like this." With a sharp, cold gaze, Tumin swung his sword with immense power, his slashes forming a perfect arc, forcing Li Thonquang to constantly fall back on the defensive. Li Thonquang retreated, looking at Tumin with a much more serious expression. "Is this what I should expect from a 10-star awakened? I have to admit, your strength truly surpasses my expectations." He tightened his grip on his blade, his eyes filled with provocation. Let's see who's stronger today. Me, Li Thon Quang, the 10-star blade maniac of Vuduang City. Or you, the 10-star swordsman from some low-level Huyan Kan Academy? Hearing that name, Tu Min narrowed his eyes slightly. Li Thon Quang, I've heard of him. He recalled that this guy was actually a rather famous figure in his past life. He looked at his opponent, feeling a bit surprised. But I never had the chance to meet him. I didn't expect to run into him so early in this life. An interested smile appeared on Tu Min's lips. He took his stance, his eyes burning with fighting spirit. Interesting. Let's see if my sword is sharper, or if your blade is tougher. The two rushed at each other once again, igniting a fiery confrontation. Suddenly, Li Thon Quang unleashed a strange technique. His blade emitted a dense blood aura. Blood blade, flying daggers. Tu Min frowned, but remained calm as he faced the incoming daggers. You dare throw daggers at me? He swiftly swung his sword, deflecting all the daggers flying towards him. But that's when Li Thon Quang smirked. You've fallen for it, he shouted. The energy from the deflected daggers suddenly exploded, locking Tu Min in place with powerful restraints. The blade energy created by my blood blade. Flying daggers can lock an enemy in place. He charged forward for the finishing blow, roaring, die. Just as the blade was about to strike, Tu Min remained unusually calm. He gently channeled his power, and a powerful surge of sword energy erupted from his body, shattering the restraints. Sword control technique. The bindings were broken. Li Thon Quang watched in astonishment as Tu Min escaped with ease. Freed from the restraints, Tu Min smirked, his hand glowing with a brilliant pink energy as he confidently declared, my turn. Immediately after, he shouted, controlling his sword and sending it flying deep into the forest. Let's see how you block this without a weapon, he taunted, remotely controlling the sword to slash violently at his opponent. Struck by the critical blow, his face contorted in pain, but he immediately ran to pick up his blade. With his blade back in hand, he charged forward confidently, saying coldly, well then, in this moment, you don't have a weapon either. Tu Min coldly activated his special movement skill, Divine Shadow Step. Instantly, his speed skyrocketed, repeatedly dodging his chaotic Shadow 5-blade strike. Li Thon Quang thought in amazement. His movement speed suddenly increased. All he could see was a blur flashing before his eyes. In the next moment, before Li Thon Quang could even process what happened, Tu Min was right behind him, speaking coldly. Sorry. He flashed a confident and mischievous smile. My sword is back. At the same time, in the distance, DM Troc and Kai Jiao had finished healing. DM Troc raised his bow and shouted, healing's complete. Tu Min, we're coming. You have to hold on. But his words suddenly stopped. His eyes widened in astonishment. Before them, Li Thon Quang's body collapsed to the ground, while Tu Min stood there, triumphant. DM Troc stammered, huh? He stared at the scene before him, unable to believe his eyes. The battle is already over? All three of them, Qi Jiao, DM Trash, and Giang Van Thon, were completely petrified, their eyes wide with shock. DM Trash stammered out his praise. Tu Min, you're incredible. You defeated such a powerful opponent while we were still healing. But Tu Min didn't let his guard down. He could still feel a dangerous aura from behind. Giang Van Thon suddenly screamed in panic. Watch out, behind you. Tu Min calmly turned around. Li Thon Quang, though heavily injured, had struggled back to his feet and was lunging forward with a desperate attack. You let your guard down, Li Thon Quang roared. DM Troc looked on in horror. Giang Van Thon couldn't hide her worried expression either. Kai Jiao screamed his name in despair. Tu Min. Li Thon Quang's blade slashed right through Tu Min. He roared, activating his ultimate skill. Ultimate skill, Blade Forest Tempest. Countless blood-red slashes enveloped the entire area. Kai Jiao screamed again in absolute terror. Tu Min! Li Thon Quang laughed maniacally. Ha ha ha, welcome to my blade domain. Kai Jiao could no longer maintain her composure and rushed forward. I'm coming to save you, Tu Min. DM Troc quickly held her back. Calm down, Kai Jiao, he urged. Rushing into his blade domain now is just throwing your life away for nothing. Kai Jiao struggled, screaming, let me go. Even if I have to die, I have to save Tu Min. Just then, a familiar voice rang out. Kai Jiao, listen to him. Kai Jiao shouted in confusion. Tu Min? Li Thon Quang, standing in the middle of his domain, couldn't believe what was happening. How is this possible? You took so many of my slashes. Why aren't you dead? Suddenly, a voice rang out from behind him. Are you sure you actually hit me? Li Chengguang thought in horror. That voice isn't coming from here. He turned around and saw the body of Su Ming he had just slashed dissolve into streams of blue light. It was a decoy. The real Su Ming was standing on a nearby tree branch, looking down coldly. So, you've finally realized. Su Ming looked down at Li Chengguang with cold eyes, his voice filled with confidence. I bet no matter how you racked your brain, you never expected an ordinary swordsman like me to have a skill like this. At the same time, a notification window appeared. Low-rank Platinum Shadow Sword Set. 5 out of 5 pieces equipped. Now activating. A dark aura surged. After equipping all pieces, sword skills now deal additional dark attribute damage. This damage can bypass physical defense, and the set skill Shadow Clone creates a fake shadow for defense. If an attack is made while the Shadow Clone is active, it will trigger a follow-up slash. The power of this slash is equal to 50% of your normal attack damage. Su Ming continued, "That's my equipment set skill." Li Chengguang, his face a mask of shock and anger, muttered, "There's absolutely no way to collect a full set in the starter dungeon. There's only one way to do that, which means you completed it long ago." Su Ming looked down, confirming his suspicion. "You guessed right. I've already completed the initial class advancement quest." He glared at Su Ming, his eyes filled with resentment. "You bastard. You even finished it faster than me." In a fit of rage, he charged forward, roaring. "Now all that's left is for me to slaughter you." But instead of attacking, he threw a glowing, potion-shaped item. Su Ming was surprised, not understanding his opponent's intention. The item exploded in a brilliant golden light. In the distance, Yan Zhe recognized it and shouted, "That's a life-saving item." Jiang Yunqing asked blankly, "A life-saving item?" As Li Chengguang vanished in the light, Yan Zhe explained, "That's right. It's a tool that allows a player to make an emergency escape from a dungeon when thrown at a critical moment. One of those costs several 100,000 adventure coins. That's definitely not an item you can farm in a dungeon." Su Ming watched the light fade and clicked his tongue. It seems the neighboring city really spent a fortune to protect their 10-star genius. They really went all out. Meanwhile, in the control room of Xuanjing Academy, as the clock struck 2 in the afternoon, a female staff member monitoring the screens suddenly exclaimed. An older man beside her, who appeared to be the headmaster, asked, "What's wrong? Have you pulled up the real-time level rankings of the players in the dungeon yet?" The staff member replied, "Not yet, sir. Data feedback shows that many players died in the 9 o'clock direction of the dungeon between 12 and 12:30. The headmaster frowned. "What's so strange about that? A few player teams must have run into some tough monsters." The staff member shook her head. "Not exactly. Data analysis shows they were killed by player data from outside this city's region." The headmaster slammed his desk in anger. "Player data from outside this city's region. It seems our neighboring city is up to its old tricks again. Save all of these data records carefully." He looked into the air, muttering with a grave expression. "Each city's starter dungeon is a competition to see who can clear it first. As the ones at the bottom of the rankings, our Xuanjing Academy has once again become a target for bullies in some people's eyes." He turned back to the female staff member and asked, "What's the current dungeon clearing progress of our students?" She replied, "The dungeon progress is very good. Most of the teleportation areas have been occupied by the students. The limited dungeon footage we can retrieve in real time shows that some capable players have organized large forces and have begun to tackle the dungeon's boss stages." She pointed to the main screen. "The one leading the charge is none other than the young master of the Zhang family, the 8-star magic hammer warrior, Zhang Tang." The headmaster nodded. "As expected, he's full of potential. I remember a few hours ago, Zhang Tang was a level 6 contestant on the leaderboard. The normal final boss of the starter dungeon is level 12, he continued, analyzing. "Since he's leading a large force, I assume he's close to level 10 by now. I hope he can kill the boss as soon as possible and bring glory to our academy." Just then, the staff member announced, "The real-time ranking data analysis is ready." She reported, "Just as you guessed, headmaster. Zhang Tang's level is already 9. Almost 10. He's tied for first place on the real-time data board." The headmaster asked, "Tied for first? The other one must be the student Yan Zhe, right?" The staff member confirmed. "Yes. But the second and third positions trailing closely behind on the leaderboard are both female students." The leaderboard appeared. First place was Zhang Tang and Yan Zhe. Second place was Jiang Yunqing, with Ji Jiao right behind her. The staff member added, "They are the level 7 necromancer, Ji Jiao, and the level 8 soul healer, Jiang Yunqing." The principal exclaimed that even the female students were so promising now. He suddenly remembered, "Have you seen the student Tumin?" The staff member replied, "I don't see student Tumin in the data for the top of the rankings." The principal ordered, "Look him up for me. What level is student Tumin at right now?" The female staff member began to search, but then her face changed in astonishment. "What is it?" the principal asked impatiently. "Have you found him yet? What level is he?" She stammered, not daring to believe what she saw. 2. Level 2. The principal was also stunned. "Huh? The screen displayed Su Ming's information. The data showed that after he achieved his first victory, his level never increased again. Back in the dungeon, the clock struck 14:30. Su Ming stood proudly on the corpse of a giant elite monster. A series of system notifications appeared before him. Successfully killed the elite sharp-toothed beast. Congratulations, you have reached level 14. Hidden equipment interface has been unlocked. In another area of the dungeon, Kai, Jiao, and DM Truck had just finished a battle. Kai Jiao said, "Just over 2 hours of grinding monsters, and we've already leveled up a few times. I'm already level 8. DM Truck excitedly added, "I'm level 10. I can already challenge the dungeon boss." Qi Jiao looked into the distance, murmuring, "The reason we can level up so quickly." Kai Jiao continued, her gaze turning to the humbly standing Jiang Vanthan, the girl who's already level 9. It's all thanks to Jiang Vanthan's experience-boosting skill. But Jiang Vanthan just smiled in reply. "We should be thanking Su Ming for giving me such an amazing skill." DM Trock excitedly summed it up. "This is great. Our team is so amazing right now. We have Vanthan's healing and experience boost, and my precise long-range damage." Kai Jiao also chimed in, "And I can summon my babies to support you guys." DM Traich concluded. "But the most important thing is having a strong player like you, Su Ming, to lead us." Su Ming turned away, humbly replying, "Don't be so formal, that's all your own strength. I'm just tagging along for the ride." Kai Jiao was a little indignant. "Hey, Su Ming, are you mocking us? If you hadn't come to save us, DM Trach and I would have definitely died under that bastard Li Thon Quang's blade." In her mind, images of the fierce battle with Li Thon Quang and Su Ming's timely arrival replayed. She blushed, her eyes sparkling with admiration. The way Su Ming fought Li Thon Quang back then was so amazing and handsome. "I believe that if our team challenges the dungeon boss right now, we can definitely clear it with ease." Su Ming turned his back to them, looking at a distant cliff face. "Qi Jiao, you're right, but unfortunately, my target isn't that normal boss." He turned back with a mysterious smile, holding a sparkling crystal key in his hand. "What I want to challenge is the hidden boss that's even stronger." A notification appeared. "The elite sharp-toothed beast has dropped an item. Rippling key." Su Ming explained. "To find the hidden boss of the novice dungeon, we have to solve 3 riddles, guided by the dungeon's data, and collect 3 corresponding items." The first riddle appeared. Riddle 1. When the silver moon hangs by the shore, the blue waves part, and the red armor sleeps in the cold abyss. Su Ming led the team to a strange place with crescent-shaped trees. The trigger location is the silver moon in the sky. There's no weather in the novice dungeon, so to find the silver moon, there's only one place in the entire dungeon where the trees grow in the shape of the moon. He pointed towards the calm lake in front of them. "So, behind this lake is the exact location of the hidden boss." The second riddle appeared. Riddle 2. The lake water turns to bone. Use the iris petal as a guide. Beneath the quicksand, the armor still holds its ancient vow, Su Ming recalled. "And the reason I rushed to be the first one into the dungeon was so I could map out the route beforehand and find the necessary items to challenge the hidden boss. From the moment I entered the dungeon, I immediately collected the iris flower trigger item from the ape monster area." He held up 2 items, a crystal flower and the key, combined with the rippling key farmed through the hint from the third riddle. Hold the star-patterned key to reflect upon the lake's bottom. 9 ripples surround the stone platform. The knight rests his head on his sword, waiting for the light to break the murky waves. The 2 merged items radiated a brilliant light. Su Ming smiled. "It's a success." Kai Jiao asked in amazement, "How did you solve these riddles?" A ball of energy flew out from the merged item and plunged into the lake, creating a giant whirlpool. A vortex has started in the lake. An ancient voice echoed from the bottom of the lake. With the vow as a guide, with the starlight as a summons, a giant sword slowly rose from the water. The knight in red armor sleeps in the cold abyss. A figure in armor riding a skeletal warhorse emerged from the water, its overwhelming presence breaking the boundary with the blue waves. A red warning notification appeared everywhere. Warning, the hidden boss has appeared. The boss was fully revealed, its glowing red eyes shining from behind its helmet. Guardian of the lake, the lost knight. Instantly, a notification popped up. Yan Zi has joined the party. Following that, Qi Jiao has joined the party. And finally, with the team fully formed, Su Ming became the party leader. Su Ming turned around, his eyes filled with determination. He ordered, "Everyone, prepare for battle." A blue screen appeared. The hidden boss challenge has begun. 15 minutes later, a system notification announced, the red-armored knight is searching for a hostile target. The entire team was hiding in a patch of tall grass. Yanze whispered nervously, "Hey, I gotta ask. Are we really going to be okay just hiding like this? Qi Jiao squinted with a mischievous grin and whispered, why don't we give it another shot? Meanwhile, Jiang Vanthan behind her looked utterly terrified. Yanze turned to Tu Min, his face etched with worry. Captain Tu Min, he said, pointing towards the galloping boss. The sound of hooves thundered relentlessly. Look at that. That guy is riding so fast. How are we supposed to kill him? A detailed information panel about the boss appeared. Hidden boss. Guardian of the Lake. The Lost Knight. Level 19. Strength. 301. Constitution. 250. Agility. 102. Spirit. 102. Luck. 10. Mount speed. 500 points. Heavy armor mastery. Level 5. The team stared at the stat panel, unable to hide their shock. Yanze mumbled, 500 points of speed. Even if we combined the speed stats of all four of us, it wouldn't even be half of his. Tu Min narrowed his eyes, focusing on the boss as it slaughtered other players. In another area, a group of players was running for their lives. One of them screamed, what the hell is this? Why would a level 19 hidden boss suddenly appear in this area for no reason? But it was too late. The Lost Knight's spear swept through them, and their blood-curdling screams echoed throughout the forest. From a distance, Tu Min's group heard the screams. He said calmly, the third group of players nearby has just been wiped out by this hidden boss. We were the ones who summoned that hidden boss. We need to hurry. Qi Jiao ran to Tu Min's side to report. Tu Min, as you instructed, she said, holding up an empty mana potion with a determined look on her face. We've used up all the mana potions from everyone in the party. We've set up that timed trap. Tu Min nodded. Thanks for your hard work. Qi Jiao, Yanze, Vantan, follow the plan. The two responded in unison. Roger. Tu Min looked towards the boss, thinking to himself, in my past life, I never challenged the hidden boss of the newbie dungeon. And most awakeners wouldn't risk choosing to summon a hidden boss in the newbie dungeon right after their awakening. Furthermore, the newbie dungeon can only be challenged once in a lifetime. Therefore, not many people know the true nature of the hidden boss in the newbie dungeon. He recalled the information he had read. The solution to the puzzle could only be vaguely found in a few written records. And I memorized it. He continued to ponder, but I never expected the hidden boss to actually be equipped with a mount that has 500 speed. He looked ahead with a sharp gaze. He made his resolve. To kill him, we have to knock him off his horse. As planned, Yanze drew his bow, green energy gathering on his arrowhead. He shouted, unleashing a barrage of multi-shot arrows. The energy arrows whizzed through the air, aimed directly at the Lost Knight. However, all the arrows were easily blocked by his thick armor. A line of text appeared above the boss's head. Heavy Armor Mastery Level 5. Yanze gritted his teeth. This boss has Level 5 Heavy Armor Mastery. My archery skills can't deal much damage to him at all. The boss turned and locked its target onto him. Yanze yelled through the team's communication channel. Vanthan, I've got the boss's aggro. From another location, Jiang Vanthan replied, understood. She quickly used fire to create a thick cloud of smoke. Tu Min observed from a distance, murmuring the plan. Step 1. Yanze lures the boss back with his precise long-range skill. Step 2. Vanthan creates smoke in the area the boss must pass through to disrupt its vision. He smiled. Quite clever, even knowing to use fire to create smoke to hide the cave entrance. A trick learned from the goblin caves. The boss charged on its horse straight into the dense smoke. Disoriented, it was forced to stop. It looked around warily, trying to locate its enemies. Suddenly, countless skeletons erupted from the ground, clinging tightly to its warhorse's legs. Skill activated. Summon Skeleton Legion. Timed trap released. Qi Jiao stood there, her entire body enveloped in a purple aura. A timer appeared. Time remaining for AoE skill effect, 3 minutes and 25 seconds. She thought to herself, if Tu Min hadn't told me, I would have never known that a basic summoning skill could be combined into a timed trap spell by summoning a large number of monsters. The boss roared, swinging its weapon to break free from the skeletons. Just then, a stream of blue light flew towards it. Jiang Vanthan had cast her spell, soul-siphoning delay magic. Tu Min continued to mutter the steps of the plan. Step 3. Restrain the movement of the boss's horse, using the skeleton trap that Qi Jiao set up in advance. He glanced at Jiang Vanthan with a smile, just as her slowing magic locked the boss's movements in place. He silently admitted that without their teamwork, dealing with this trapped boss would have been impossible. Instantly, he unleashed a powerful kick into the boss's chest. With a determined expression, he poured all his strength into the kick. The immense force sent the Lost Knight staggering. Tu Min roared, "Get off your horse!" The boss crashed heavily to the ground. From a distance, DM Track shouted joyfully, "We did it." DM Track continued to cheer. "We knocked the boss off his horse," but Kai Jiao, with a serious expression, warned. "Don't let your guard down yet," she continued. "This is just the first phase." Flashing back to 10 minutes ago, Kai Jiao had expressed her concern. "To Min, your plan is brilliant, but this way, Van Thon and I will run out of mana. Even if we succeed in knocking him off his horse, we won't be able to damage the boss." To Min had simply replied calmly, "It's fine. That's all I need." He gave a confident smile. "When the time comes, just leave everything to me." Back in the present, To Min stood before the fallen boss. His eyes burned with fighting spirit. "Let me solo him." Without a moment's hesitation, he charged in to attack. His sword clashed against the Lost Knight's armor, creating a shower of brilliant sparks. To Min's slashes were fast and powerful, relentlessly pressuring his opponent. He moved with agility, dodging the boss's counterattacks. The Lost Knight, even without its horse, was still a formidable foe. Their battle was incredibly fierce. Waves of sword energy collided, and the force of their power created an energy explosion that spread throughout the forest. From a distance, To Min's 3 teammates watched the battle in astonishment. Kai Jiao murmured, "So intense. To Min can actually face this hidden boss all by himself." She tightened her grip on her weapon. "I can't just stand here and watch." DM Trake also raised his bow. "I can still use my skills. I have to go help." But a hand stopped him. He turned to see it was Kai Jiao. "Wait, DM Trake." She looked at him with a determined gaze. To Min said to leave it to him. Kai Jiao turned back to the fight, a trusting smile on her face. "We have to trust him. We have our own mission." At that moment, To Min activated his skill, Divine Shadow Step. A red aura emanated from his body. He charged forward, his slashes growing faster and stronger. He moved like a phantom, weaving through the boss's attacks. His speed had suddenly skyrocketed. He easily dodged a fatal blow. Gliding past the boss, he said coldly, "Too slow." The boss watched his shadow in astonishment. "I never expected that," after getting off your horse. A new information panel appeared, revealing the boss's critical weakness. Its speed stat was now only 55. To Min finished its sentence. "Your real speed would be this pathetic." He delivered a decisive slash. He shattered the Lost Knight's armor. To Min smirked, his eyes filled with contempt. "So, a hidden boss is nothing special after all." He roared as a pink energy radiated from his hand, unleashing a finishing blow. "Die." A loud clang rang out as his sword struck the knight's armor violently, creating a storm of sparks. However, the boss's heavy armor held firm, suffering only a small chip. Immediately after, the Lost Knight roared. It swung its great sword in retaliation, forcing To Min back. A notification appeared, weapon durability remaining, 7%. To Min looked at his sword, frowning as he thought, "My sword's durability isn't enough. The damage is being reduced significantly." The boss continued its assault, its greatsword crashing down with immense power, forcing To Min to struggle to defend. He gritted his teeth. This guy's heavy armor attribute is a real pain. Pushed back, the boss suddenly stopped. Its blazing red eyes flashed as it abruptly turned and fled towards the forest. It stopped, looking around as if searching for something. To Min stood at a distance, calling out mockingly, "Are you trying to find your horse?" He leaned against a tree, crossing his arms. "You're pretty smart. You know that your speed on horseback is your key to victory." He smirked mischievously. "But what a shame. Your horse has already been led away by them." Hearing this, the skeletal warhorse, currently being restrained by the other 3, let out a mournful neigh. Kai Jiao shouted, "Stop struggling. We're not letting you get away." DM Trake also gave an order. "Van Thon, keep using your magic to slow it struggling." Kai Jiao turned back to DM Trake with a determined look. "Our mission to restrain this horse is crucial. This is what To Min entrusted to us." He mounted it again. Back in the battle, To Min flew up, unleashing a powerful quick-draw slash toward the knight. He landed spectacularly after completing the skill. However, his sword energy was blocked by the boss, creating a terrifying explosion. The boss roared, unleashing its full power as water blades screamed through the air. To Min was a bit surprised. "So you know a few skills too." He swung his sword, shattering the incoming water blades, but that was just a diversion. To Min had used his sword control technique to command his blade to attack from another angle, piercing through the boss's armor. Another notification appeared. Weapon durability remaining, 3%. He continued his relentless assault, lightning-fast sword strikes raining down on the boss. He muttered with intense focus, "Can't waste any more weapon durability." He saw the cracks on his opponent's armor growing larger. Its heavy armor was about to break. He channeled all his power into his eyes, preparing to deliver the finishing blow. Sword energy swirled around him when suddenly, the knight's blazing red eyes flashed with a deadly light. With extraordinary speed, the knight closed in on Su Ming. They both unleashed a world-shaking slash at the same time. The knight had the upper hand and followed up with a punch straight to his gut. The boss continued by grabbing his head and slamming the hilt of its sword into his body. He looked down at his opponent coldly and smiled. This move works just as well on players as it does on monsters. Suddenly, he appeared behind the boss. His equipment interface lit up, signaling that his gear set had been activated. Su Ming said with delight, "I love this set." He raised his sword, and a blue energy enveloped it, preparing to unleash the final blow. He used his sword control technique, and the sword shot forward, piercing through the boss's shattered armor. With a loud clang, the knight's heavy armor shattered completely. A system notification popped up. Heavy armor has been broken. Weapon durability has been depleted. Su Ming's sword transformed into a mystical purple phantom blade. He raised it high and declared, "It's over." Meanwhile, at UNHINGED Academy, the clock struck 15:30 in the afternoon. The sign for the school's communication room showed it was in use. Headmaster Wang walked in, and a voice called out, "You're finally here, Headmaster Wang." Another headmaster said sarcastically, "Looks like all the headmasters have been in the communication room chatting for a while now. We just got here not long ago. You're simply the last one to arrive." "What's wrong, Headmaster Wang? Is it because none of the students in your UNHINGED Academy's beginner dungeon have challenged the boss yet, just like every other year? The clear results start coming in after 3 in the afternoon?" Another person chimed in, "But Headmaster Wang, your UNHINGED Academy is always at the bottom of the ranks anyway, so it doesn't matter if you take your sweet time reporting." Headmaster Wang calmly replied, "I'm not late because of the dungeon." He explained with a serious expression, "I've received some real-time feedback data from inside the dungeon. Players from outside our school have snuck into our UNHINGED Academy's beginner dungeon. We still haven't identified the outside player." He looked at another headmaster and said, "But I'm sure it must be students from one of you 3 other city academies causing trouble, right, Old Zye? The victim data shows they were killed by someone using blade skills. I heard your Wuduang Academy's genius student, Li Thon Quang, is a master of blade weapons." The headmaster named Shi quickly retorted, "Whoa there, don't make accusations without proof. Our academy's Li Thon Quang is currently a key offensive force, challenging the final boss in our beginner's dungeon." Another headmaster interjected, "I dare say we'll clear it in less than half an hour. Our Dong Lin Academy already has 3 groups of students who have leveled up enough and are challenging the boss." Yet another spoke up, "Our Nam Quang Academy has already pushed the boss into its 2nd phase. As long as we perform normally, news of the clear will arrive soon." Headmaster Wang thought to himself, "It seems the other academies are progressing smoothly with the boss. Every second counts now." He clutched the 2 tickets in his hand, worried. "If our academy doesn't get the first clear this year, we'll be left with only 2 tickets to the Tower Association, the lowest number in our history." He looked into the air, his heart filled with hope. Right now, the player closest to taking down the boss is Truong Duong. Everything now depends on his strength. Back in the dungeon at 15:15 in the afternoon, Truong Duong was shouting, leading his team in a charge. "Everyone, push forward. Don't hold anything back. Use all your strength and kill the final boss." But before them stood a giant lion monster, the level 15 Simba, king of the jungle. The boss easily slaughtered Truong Duong's team. The students were sent flying, screaming in despair. Even though he tried his best, Truong Duong had to admit bitterly, "We're completely outmatched. Our levels isn't high enough to successfully challenge it," one of his teammates said in despair. "No, we've come so far." Truong Duong collapsed, but he refused to give up hope. "The reward for clearing this tutorial dungeon, it has to be mine."